The nighttime is the right time.
The
nighttime is the right time. Bit it in.
Fuck the sun.
Fuck the sun.
When they say fuck the sun, you just say fuck the sun.
Welcome,
followers.
Welcome,
Denonites.
Welcome, Denonites. Yes. Oh, that's good for this one.
We've been manipulating
Welcome
you.
to It's Been a Long Time Coming.
Evil laugh. Insert
Welcome.
Evil laugh.
Yes. Little did you know that only the Denonites get access to the spaceship when it comes on the comet.
Right? Yep. Everyone else?
So
they'll be looking up at us.
You
Bye-bye.
have all been blessed. And even if this is your first time listening,
you're in there.
Welcome.
You're in there.
Because we're a completely all-inclusive, non-restrictive until you join, and then we make a lot of rules type of organization.
That's the way to go.
Which sounds like I'm describing a cult.
Oh, maybe? Can we say the word
cult?
cult?
C word? The not fun C word?
Is there a funner C word?
Yeah, and it's got the same number of letters.
Oh.
Also ends with a T.
Yeah.
And a U. Actually, there's really only one letter different.
No. Well, yeah.
Cart.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think
I'm like, now we're just staring at this base spelling in the air.
Spelling's tough. Welcome to the Beta Den. Today's episode is cults. We're just going to tell you that right off the bat.
Yeah, and
instead of making you
listen
guess
to the
for
whole
20
thing,
minutes. Yeah.
And if it all sounds really similar to your life, you're in a cult.
Yeah. I'd say, let's do a disclaimer right off the bat. We're going to talk about some fucking
suicide,
fucked up shit,
some religious stuff, some opinions on religion, some violence, sexual abuse, drug use, torture, death, racism.
Don't leave.
Just everything.
Don't leave. Not because we want to, but because these are the unfortunate, regular, recurring fucking attributes of cult life. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, you've been warned.
You've been warned. And you've been inducted. So yeah, but we can ease into some shit before that.
Yeah, man. Let them know what are we drinking?
Drinking?
Yeah, just get that out like the top, right?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So you may or may not know we do a "What Are We Drinking" segment in our episodes, and that's where I do a little beer corner, and we rate a beer. Are you taking a picture of it?
I'm gonna.
We rate a beer out of 5 beta fish. 5 obviously being the best. And today, to be on brand with our episode, we have the Imperial Stout known as Fudgement Day. And it even has its own little tagline, "Adjuncts are forever," by Magnify Brewing. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Magnify that I like that they treated their beer can as if it's a movie poster. Like, Fudgement Day, adjuncts are forever.
Yeah, I like it.
Because then there's Fudgement Day 2, Son of Adjunct, probably, or something like that. And it almost looks like the
Fudgement Day Returns,
Independence Day.
Yeah, like
right.
The font, with the big.
This looks like a fucking spaceship up top. Which let me do some of that. Which camera? So many cameras. Oh, there we go.
Fancy.
All right, in case anybody wants to see on there. So Fudgement Day, which makes sense because like most cults, they get you by telling you it's fucking doomsday and
waiting for something to end.
Everything's gonna end. Yeah. So really quick, also, Lee is in a unique position these days where he's not drinking the beer. So he picked it. Yeah, do your thing. But so he picked it, which means he gets to just choose whatever nuclear bomb they've put in a can.
We'll make it fun.
So
interesting.
To explain to you what I'm saying is that here's the description on this beer. Imperial Stout brewed with right off the bat, the first ingredient, brewed with chocolate pudding.
I didn't read the ingredients.
Yeah.
Sorry,
it's,
bro.
It's Swiss Miss. And look, there's nothing wrong with chocolate pudding. But, oh my God, what is this going to be? Okay,
No.
so brewed with chocolate pudding, chocolate fudge, coffee, coconut, and marshmallow.
You're not allergic to coconut, are you?
No, I don't love it, but I'm not allergic to it on a physical level. And contains lactose. Yeah, because as if there wasn't all kinds of milk sugar happening already.
You don't have to finish it.
So, oh, well.
I might get Evan's lowest score right now. This might be.
Well, let me stop being
he'll find the light.
Fucking asshole about it, as if, I don't love all booze. All right, hang on. I'm going to do this pour.
Pour the pour. Do the do.
Look at this. I got a good pour talk angle going. So Imperial Stout, a lot of times you'll see the word Russian in front of that. Because that's
it's made really fast.
You fucking... As a dad.
Haven't used that one in a while.
As a dad joke. Yeah, a lot of times it's originally, I think, like a Russian style. Imperial Stout.
Ooh.
Look
we got to tell Pat about that.
Head
Look
retention.
at that. Yeah. Woo.
Right. Yeah, the other day. To give you a preview of another episode coming up soon, we had a Dungeons and Drafts, which was D&D at my brewery the other day, and Lee showed up, and we were talking to the head brewer about head retention. So if you are seeing the potential Patreon or whatever it is, or I'm sure Lee's going to post some of this online.
Yeah, maybe YouTube. Maybe I'll just put the whole thing on YouTube.
Ton of head. Let me just say right now, a proper pour is 2 fingers of head. And if you're wondering why I keep talking about blowjobs, what I'm saying is the foam that's on top of the beer. That's what I mean by head. So you want at least, or around like 2 fingers of foam. That's a proper pour. You're supposed to have foam. I know a lot of people don't like that, but it does help with like bringing the flavors out of said beer.
And it looks cool when it gets stuck on your mustache.
And it just looks like a classic. yeah, totally. So Imperial Stout, for lack of like, any kind of like real technical shit, is basically heavy hitter. You're not going to see an Imperial Stout under 9%. It's going to be a very heavy stout. Should still be smooth. You don't want something that's going to be too boozy. That's the trick when you're making these like heavy hitter
tough, though,
beers.
Right?
Yeah,
like, if you're making it that rich in alcohol, how you like make that balance?
And then a lot of people try to like, which it sounds like these
Cover
guys
it
did.
up.
They're like, let's just put every sweet chocolate thing on the planet into it and see what happens. So
more razor blades in the bubble gum.
What is that from? What is that from?
Sidekick. Remember the movie Sidekick with Chuck Norris and that kid? He died. What's his name? He looks like Leonardo DiCaprio when they were young. Like they could have been interchangeable.
Oh, Rivers Phoenix.
No. Oh fuck! You're gonna make me look this shit up.
Joaquin's brother.
No, I don't think it's him.
Oh my God! This smells. Just smells. You can probably. It just smells like a dark chocolate bar.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I'm going in.
Go for it. Let us know when. Jonathan Brandis was the kid in it. Passed away.
Ooh.
Did I do a good one?
Well, sign me up for Fudgement Day.
Wow. Drinking the Kool-Aid.
It tastes like liquid chocolate. I mean, I'm not.
Oh, so it's like a.
Although they're hiding the booze. I should say not hiding. It's tucked in real nice, tucked in tight with chocolate. Just straight up chocolate. This tastes like you melted Hershey's dark chocolate bars and added some carbonation.
Okay. But it
which that could
it's
whatever
smooth,
that means
though.
to you.
It's good. Like it's not.
It's smooth. Yeah.
Not too much.
It does not taste like an 11. So this is going to get a pretty good rating actually. First, it's going to get a grunt of approval. I don't think I've brewed an Imperial Stout just yet. Definitely done dry Irish. Definitely done some heavier, guess you still call them like American stouts. We've done some bourbon barrel aged ones, but man, this is like really nice Christmas beer. I don't taste the coconut. It just is a chocolate overload with a touch of coffee. Fuck. It's a lot of bells and whistles, and I don't want to rate it this high, but I'm giving it a 4.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I didn't do so bad.
Yeah. No. You did
outside
good.
the box,
but and it says like adjuncts are forever, which adjuncts, what that means, or is that what it was?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So that's again a fancy way to say all this shit you're throwing in. Like we just made a blueberry IPA, and so the blueberry puree is your adjunct, right? So a lot of times beers that are throwing all that shit in, it can just be a big sweet fucking mess. This is a really nice blend. Really nice blend.
All right, then. There we go.
If I
Fudgement
was
Day.
working there,
A 4.
I'd give it a lower rating because whatever asshole has to clean that tank out when that's done.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Is it just like burnt chocolate to the sides? Like just
well,
like,
fuck. I saw a video from a brewery where they had used graham cracker, but they used a ton of actual just graham cracker, and they might have thrown it in all as a solid piece. And so at this point, I don't know if they lost all the beer or not, but the tank is open, and they literally have a chainsaw, and they're trying to slice. It's turned into
holy
cement.
Shit.
Graham cracker cement.
Wow.
So you got to be careful.
Yeah.
And when you're transferring beer, and I'll be done soon. I don't want to bore people with beer specifics too much. But when you're transferring beer, when it's not automated, the biggest thing is like you have a sight glass and you have this arm. It's called a racking arm. And you want to try to lower it enough that you're not getting all your hops and your yeast. It's called trube, like Jacob Trouba, captain of the New York Rangers. And any of your adjuncts, any of your additives, they're all going to settle at the bottom. So obviously you want to transfer from your fermenter to your bright only beer, not all this thick bullshit, because that's a great way to just clog everything up. So you got to move your arm until, as you're watching the sight glass, you start to see little specks of shit, and you're like, okay, I'm like about to breach said level, so let me stay there. That being said, whoever has to clean that tank afterwards,
just as everything
you're going to have this chocolate cement sludge coming out. And some days I'm spending an hour just getting that shit out before I can even start cleaning the tank. So, yeah, kudos to Magnify Brewing. You guys did a really good job, in my opinion, of taking a seasonal, bells and whistle beer and making it really good for even like a classic beer drinker like myself.
Man.
Do you want to take a sip?
I'll take a sip. Let's try this.
I said it's like chocolate coffee. Can't be terrible.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
That's surprisingly good.
Yeah.
I didn't think it would taste like that.
Yeah.
It kind of just tastes like a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Like
if you dropped like a fucking dark chocolate square into your coffee. Yeah.
Ooh.
Right?
Good.
Also,
That's good.
Side note.
I'll give that a 4. I'll give that a 4 since I tasted it. I get to throw a fucking fish.
I miss the days where you were. We got to get you
I can
back
start
in
tasting
the,
again. I can start tasting.
Just taste.
I'll just do tastes. Yeah, that's fine.
Just the tip, just for a second.
Foreplay is necessary.
Foreplay is for all of us.
There you go.
Yeah.
We've taught you so much in 14 minutes. If you're listening right now, you've learned a lot
about beer.
Yeah. And foreplay.
About foreplay.
Hey, head.
About head.
We're educators.
Both head.
Yeah, you should just listen to everything we say all the time.
Yeah,
without
you know
questioning
what?
Us.
It's almost as if we've been sent here from another planet.
I definitely have. I was going to talk about it. We're going to go into this later, but yeah.
Well,
I'm definitely not from this planet.
Was it last episode you were asking me about that band Lawn?
Yes.
So I listened to it.
Okay.
Since then.
I felt all cool because I brought new music.
Yes. So rightfully so. Very cool band. You had mentioned like Pine Grove vibes. I would say they sound more like this band Real Estate, which probably haven't heard. But very like...
That's why the lawn is there. They're just on the real estate.
So, and I was thinking that, maybe we talked about this, but there's a band Real Estate, then there's Lawn. Maybe there's one called like
Backyard.
Lot Size. Yeah.
Acres.
Yeah. Acreage.
Mailbox. Driveway.
And they all sound the same. There's like the Suburban Festival where they all just like...
But they're all in their positions.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's all just like real estate terms.
Oh, that's funny.
Markups.
So now I have to go
listen to
real estate and come back, and I'll report back on real estate.
Me and Pat, head brewer Pat, we have been talking about playing guitar together and doing some live shit. This Thursday, I'm going to be at Steel City doing some solo live stuff.
Thursday,
the 11th. In Phoenixville, PA.
Open mic, I'll come out.
Open mic, yeah.
Yeah.
But me and him, he was sick this weekend, but we were going to start working on shit. But he sent me a song from Real Estate called Stained Glass that he wants to cover. It's very much this vibe.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. I mean, I'm still digging on. I bought their fucking vinyl.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. No, they're pretty fucking sweet.
Cool. I've had to slow down on
estate.
vinyl purchases. I need to actually start. So for 2024, I need to start.
Oh, Happy New Year. Yeah, we should talk about this. Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year, Lee.
First episode.
It is first episode post-holidays and all that shit.
So you made a record resolution?
Yeah, two things. First, I need to put a list of all the records I have on my phone because I'm starting to get to the point where I'm almost about to double buy.
Okay.
Which I can't afford to do.
No.
And second, I need to decide on, like, do some math and decide on what an appropriate monthly vinyl budget should be.
Yeah.
Because when I'm down in Phoenixville,
I know
and I've had some drinks.
Every time I go into town.
And I go to one record shop and I buy one that I didn't need, and then I think, well, there's that other one 2 blocks away, and I know the guy, or blah, blah, blah. Or you know me, I know all the guys, so I gotta talk to him now. So I come home and I've spent $60 on records when I was just trying to spend $25 on a beer.
I'm holding out. There's a few records I want that are like upwards of $60 themselves, and I'm like,
yeah,
one day I'm just gonna have bad judgment and do it.
Well, I think that was it. There's a Smashing Pumpkins Siamese Dream. It's some, it was $50 and like,
yeah,
it's worth it.
It is, but you just gotta pick the time to make it.
Just because it's worth it doesn't mean like my bank account was ready for me to just drop $50.
Well, just don't eat lunch for like 4 days.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of ramen.
Yeah, I mean,
so yeah. Mostly that, and I've just been trying to like eat less, move more.
Yeah, my health is definitely part of my resolution, like everyone else in fucking America.
Or on the planet.
Yeah, I'm just fucking eating the wrong shit all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, and just going to try to fucking chill out more, if that's even possible. But, like, no, my, like, actual anxiety shit.
I know exactly. Well, okay, so maybe not exactly, but yes, like, God damn, and it's sometimes you don't even realize. It's like I'm living in this floating, anxious state.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I'm just always ready.
You're just wired.
Yeah.
And I don't realize it until, for me personally, the way I get out of that is I drink too much, and then I wake up the next day feeling terrible. And although I feel terrible, it's like a brick wall where it stops me. So it's almost like I'm like, oh, thank God I drove into that brick wall because I needed something to stop me. Right. So it's like I don't realize I've been in that anxious, stimulated state until I'm out of it.
Yeah.
And I've found recently, and we were just talking about this before, but like I took social media off my phone and I've felt way more focused, and I'm also not doom scrolling, and I'm not I don't feel like the world is ending all the time,
That's
and
a
that
big
I'm
part
not
of it.
doing enough and
We're
all
not-
this shit.
We're not meant to know all the stuff that's going on in the world all the time.
Yeah,
we're not cut.
It's good to be
out of that,
informed.
yeah.
I'm not trying to be like head in
No,
the
but like,
sand.
if you're on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook, like you're just
all
getting
day, every day. And
from
depending on who
everywhere.
you are, there's a war against men. There's a war against women.
Well,
there's
there's
a
everything.
war against this. There's a war against. Oh, then there's actual wars.
Yeah, there's
And
people
then-
going to jail for this. There's plane lists.
Yeah.
There's fucking everything. It's
Right.
insane.
So it's like, how does that help me for
doesn't. It
real in
doesn't.
my
It doesn't.
actual real life?
That's the problem.
Right. So you know, I don't know. I
2024.
think it's helped.
Goose
But-
Fraba.
Yeah. Let's just say we're turning down the volume
Yeah.
in 2024.
Yeah. And I'm also part of that is I'm presenting this always be comfy, the ABCs.
Okay. Meaning.
I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna wear what I want to wear.
Oh, you've always been like
No,
that.
but like I wore jeans for a long time. I do not like jeans. Like jeans are done. I got like
I thought we've had this conversation where you. I'm a big jeans guy.
Yeah.
Jeans make me comfortable, but I think for different reasons.
no, but like I've actually like been shopping for like different kinds of wear.
Wait,
Well, not these.
this?
These are still like, but these are not jeans. Yeah.
No.
But these are as pants, formal pants as I'm going.
Okay.
Like that's it.
That like whatever nylon-y
Yeah, like
material.
the stretchy canvas. And I got like some corduroy type sweatpant
miss
things,
corduroy.
man. Yeah, they're a little baggy, and like got some.
Baggy's
some-
coming back.
Yeah, I got some.
It's
like,
also nicer to.
With those like meditation pants, like Buddha
Okay.
pants, like with the fucking giant crotch.
Yeah.
Like, just to be fucking comfortable. Got a drug rug at home now. Finally,
Yes.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm reaching like that older hippie stage where I'm just like,
Do it.
I'm gonna be an old. If I had hair, it'd be like fucking green or some
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me right
Green from just
now. This amount of fucking
weed
THC.
smoke. not from dye.
All right, man. Yeah, fuck us.
I hear-
Enough about us, right?
No, well, no. I hear that. I just want to say, like what I was saying before, jeans for me are comfy, but on a different way. I feel too vulnerable if I'm not wearing denim.
Oh,
I just
right, Marlboro man.
that's what I'm saying. It's I feel like now I'm playing like Baldur's Gate 3 so much. I'm like, I need my light armor.
I'm not proficient in light
I need-
armor.
Right. I don't know. Otherwise, I feel like I'm just like naked in the
I
world.
kind of understand. I feel like I'm obligated to like wear a certain level of like shit outside to be accepted into like society. But
Yeah.
now I don't care. I'm done with that. I'm
Yeah.
done. I'm doing whatever.
Well,
the
it's
fuck I want.
I've been trying to go to the gym more in the morning, and then so I'm like dropping off my kid in my fucking sweatpants, whatever I'm wearing at the gym. I don't care about
Yep.
that.
No,
That's not
no,
what
that
I mean.
never
Like
I care.
that's
No.
whatever.
I'm
Eat
talking about
shit.
like if I meet you at like Steel City,
yeah.
like I'm coming looking like a podcaster. There's no.
And I'm gonna be in my Canadian tuxedo of
Yep.
just like denim pants, denim shirt, denim jacket. Yeah, that's how I'm comfy.
Yeah, go for it, man. Everyone's
Well,
in a uniform.
All right, so yeah, you were trying to move. I think actually I'm gonna do a segue.
That was me on a Segway.
That completely fucked me up for what I was trying to say. But you know, tapping into people's comforts, tapping into people's anxieties,
And discomfort, yeah.
tapping into people's insecurities, I think is
Vulnerability.
And this is not unique to. So we're about to really let's dive into cults, right?
All right.
And this is not unique to cults. What I'm about to say, and we said it at the top end, but like we're gonna say some potentially uncomfortable or controversial shit. And I think the one thing I want to say right off the bat, and I was gonna bring this up with different when we get into like the specific cults, but on the surface, a lot of these groups are not terrible.
No, and they don't usually
in like
start
what they're
that way.
yes, in like
Yeah.
what they're offering and what the initial impression is. You're like, I can get down with
why
that.
wouldn't this sound great?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
So, and again, this is not unique to cults, but
Yeah, but
everybody's trying to
we're
profit
definitely
off.
going to talk about that more because every cult,
Yeah. No, I know.
it's every fucking cult.
But what I want to say is that I think what I'm trying to say is that I'm fascinated. I am a cult doc fiend. And what blows my mind is just how do people time and time again like fall into these things. And what I consistently realize or learn is that there's a touch of cult mentality in everything. Like everyone, whether it's Macy's,
I had like
whether
a
it's-
part for
like
that. Yeah, I was
everyone
going
is
to talk about that.
trying to channel your insecurity, and most of the time we see it through capitalism of like,
Mhm.
oh, you're upset by this, right?
Or you identify like this. Look at me. I'm the same.
this is how
Yeah.
you should look if
Yeah.
you want to be this. Yeah, like
You need this thing to be this thing.
cults
Yeah.
are way more appealing and way easier and maybe more accessible than I think a lot of people give them credit for.
Yeah, and like the internet changed that to because anyone now can talk to anyone. So there's like now internet only cults. So like people that haven't met in person,
Shit's wild.
and they're still completely dependent on that group of people online, which I think is fascinating.
Well, how about even take it a step further or a step back? I don't know. Take a step. Echo chambers. Right?
Well,
forget
yeah,
about cults, right? When people make fun of like MAGA folk or even, your parents who they're, almost like liberals to a fault. It's like, or I should say the boomer generation where they see these memes that are clearly bullshit and they're like, "Did you hear that what was it?
Trains are flying now.
Yeah, Hillary's stealing children
That's
at a
plain
pizza place."
bad.
And you're like, "Oh,
Pizza
okay,
Gate.
but maybe just can you do a little more research than the picture on Facebook?"
No.
But the reason I bring it up is because people want to hear what they want to hear. Right? We're inclined when you talk about confirmation bias, we talked about that in the Long Island serial killer
Mhm.
episode. Like people want to be right. So if whatever your crazy shit is, like if the initial selling point, the package, the timeshare is that hey, everything you've ever thought is right. Everything that you've ever felt bad about is wrong and we can fix it. Like that appeals to I think just humans.
Yeah, again, like you said, and in the start of all cults, where you hear like the fundamental laydown of what they pull people in with.
Yeah.
Like I think most people could find at least one that they're like, that would have got me.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
if this was if all the
We're-
stars were aligned,
Yeah.
that would have got me.
Yeah.
Like, because they're. I mean, a little factoid that I found out doing some of this research. Right now in America, there's up to 10,000 active cults.
I don't understand
That's
that, dude.
insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely nuts. Like,
Does Peloton count?
Well, does Taylor Swift count? Like,
Yo, Swift.
yeah, like is that a
when
cult?
you see them, have you seen the videos? So she put her concert into theaters, like as a movie.
Yeah.
Have you seen those videos of the Swifties? They're in theaters, holding hands in circles,
No.
chanting like
That's a cult.
in circles. Like it's the most Manson family shit
That's
I've ever
crazy.
seen.
I
And
know I haven't seen those.
What's
She's
funny is
not
like
on
the
my algorithm,
boyfriends
thank
or
God.
whatever, and I don't
Fuck
just want to
that.
say boyfriends, but like the people who get dragged there by said Swifties are the ones filming it, being like, "What in the fucking
Slowly
world?"
backing out, like
Yeah,
Homer into the
dude.
bushes. Yeah, I would be out.
And it doesn't. So I don't want to be another male-driven podcast. It's not like I'm not anti Taylor Swift. She's a talented pop star. She writes really good music. I get why she's popular. What I don't understand is the literal cult following.
It's not new though. It's Michael Jackson. It's fucking
But
Selena. It's
so
all that shit.
the difference is that in I want to say 2016, but I don't know. In the past few years, people were waiting to find out how she voted,
Yeah.
and how she voted carries. So like a lot of people are saying that like Taylor Swift, as much as you want to like talk shit about her, who if you are someone that wants to do that, like she could tell her fucking fans vote for this person, and overwhelmingly you're going to get millions of votes for that person,
Yeah.
right? So it's real world application. It's not just
I wonder how many like celebrities or famous people or icons can get away with that. I'm sure there's a good amount of people that have enough base that they could be like,
I don't think so.
People are crazy about people.
Agreed, but I think it's hit or miss. So if you saw, it makes me think of when Oprah and The Rock were trying to get people to donate money for the Maui fires.
Yes, but Oprah could definitely influence votes.
But she's losing that.
Just like cults,
stranglehold.
There's going to be a group of people that just stay regardless.
You're always
going to
have your
that's
purists. Let's say
that's the base. That's what you need.
Sure. Okay. But I would say that Swifties like Taylor Swift
overwhelmingly
has
absolutely
far beyond surpassed current Oprah influence.
Yeah, because she's got into like the nuclear family. She's got every kid and mom like a fan.
Yeah.
Like so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah. God, and all this, it's so funny. I don't think either one of us planned on talking about Taylor Swift.
I did. I did. I have it.
Oh, you have it in there. But it's just what we're talking about is like sphere of influence.
No.
And just how we've talked about, and I forget what it was, but we talked about like mass hysteria before. We talked about like the laughing fits and the
when we talk about any kind of UFO sightings or anything like that. Yeah. UAP.
Humans are pattern-based species. That's how we've been able to survive for this long. We are also a social, like, whether it's like caste or pecking order system. Like, we have survived as a species because we group together.
Yeah, we
because
long
we create patterns out of
accepted. Like,
everyone
wants to be accepted into something.
But it comes from a very real, like, because humans are only 200,000. Assuming we're not from another thing. Ooh. Human evolution on this planet thus far is a couple 100,000 years, and the reality is that like modern world as we know it is only 5,000 years, if you want to give it that. So, like we're still this. You know what I mean? Like, But we're still this very fucking. We have like one gene different than monkeys, and like we're not that.
I was just talking about that with
special.
So
we're not that special.
Do you ever see the Whitakers?
I don't know.
No,
Forrest Whitaker?
No. It's a family from like Appalachia, North Carolina, like. Their whole, like, since they got here, since the Whitakers immigrated to America, have been isolated in North Carolina. And they are all, like, inbred.
They're just them.
They're all inbred, yes.
They are
all,
them. That's
so we were talking, and, like, and, I mean, I guess I'm not insulting anybody because I really don't care if you're incestual. Like, you can watch the photocopy get worse. Of like the genes just don't replicate the same the younger the people are. So at the top of the Whitakers, the old people that are like elderly and still alive can talk words. No, I'm dead serious.
No, I just love that that's the bar you're setting.
That's it, because I don't think they can write and I don't think they can read. They can talk.
Okay.
Their next generation under can say words here and there and grunt. And then under that, it's nothing and grunts.
Well, as a scientist, hang on. I am not a scientist. If I was thinking of a scientific approach, the only other thing I'd say is, like, what are the variables? Like, is anyone educating these people?
No, but that's also what I mean. So, like, it's the fact that at one point someone could read and write. Yeah. They taught someone how to talk.
Right.
And then that person didn't know how to read and write.
Yeah.
And then the other person is like, I don't even know how to tell you to make that sound with your tongue. I just do it.
Right.
And then they're like, and they're trying, so they sound like a deaf person.
Right.
Because they're not making the right sounds with their mouths. And then finally they're just, it's nuts. It's crazy. And they're physically deformed. It's crazy. I don't know why I'm talking about that. I just
no. Well, because we brought
you
up
said chromosomes, and I thought
chromosomes, but also I think that speaks to, because my question was, okay, what if you started to allow some of these people outside access? And this plays into cults a lot. One of the main thing cults do is they're like shut out the outside world.
Yeah, isolation.
So what if you had somebody educated come in, and obviously not that first or second or maybe third generation, but you would imagine that over time, because the human brain should be able to access certain things. Like,
But I think you have to add new blood.
Yeah.
The problem is that, like, even physically, you can watch, like, they're younger but look older.
Oh, yeah.
And they're
no,
like
no, I'm sure
blind
everything
and-
is
yeah,
degrading.
yeah.
But I
that's what I
think
mean. Like,
you
it's
brought
so
it up
crazy
as
you can watch that, like,
in real time.
yeah, like photo. Like, if you lined them up, you'd be like, okay, that was the original, and
Right.
that
So
was the last one that was made.
we're still very much biological
It's
people, like
crazy.
copy. Like we're still playing by very specific rules.
Yeah.
And also, yeah, it seems to me like humankind benefits from
Diversity.
exposure. Yeah.
Well, actually, that kind of leads us into Jamestown. I wasn't going to talk about it right away, but that was like his whole thing.
All right. So
We
here's
do-
the thing. Do we want to do?
Let's explain
I wanted
the
to
definition
do
of
the
like a cult
yeah.
and break it down.
Can we just go through the checklist?
Yeah, go ahead. You'll go through the checklist.
All right, I'm going to go through the checklist, and you're going to hate me because I want to say this. As I go through the checklist, you tell me if this doesn't sound like religion
Yeah.
point for point. And the reason I'm bringing that up again is not only to take a dump on organized religion, but to show just how susceptible we all are, right? Because everyone seems fine with
But again, it goes back
celebrating
to
the
like
birth
wanna
of
be
this
part.
fucking God thing on December 25th. That's not crazy. But if you talk about the lizard people with Scientology, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And you know, for someone who's not religious, you take a step back and be like, well, guys, what are you actually
Yeah.
saying that's different?
No,
Right.
nothing exactly. But that,
Right.
but it's a matter of acceptance versus not being accepted. Like a whole entire planet is like, yeah, we'll believe that lie. I could believe that
And
lie.
it's been
Fine,
for long
it's
enough.
okay. Yeah,
Also, cults are a really good lesson in sales, like sales pitch.
some of them. Yeah, some of them are
Well,
really
sales
good.
pitch, right? Because how do I get you to believe this crazy shit? And with religion, if you take any organized religion, most of them have been around for thousands of years, so it's just like ingrained in tradition and culture. But what really impresses me is these people who are essentially doing the same exact thing, but they're starting it now, and then getting, followers. So before I talk myself into a fucking circle, here's yeah, and I'm going to credit Cult Recovery 101. This was actually a website that's trying to help
There's a
people
few.
to be
Yeah, I
right.
came across a few.
Yeah, most of the information is from websites who are trying to be like, yo, if you check these boxes, get
You in a
some
cult, bro.
help. Yeah, like you might need some help. Okay. So, what makes a cult? The group is focused on a living leader to whom members seem to display excessively zealous, unquestioning commitment. Right? And I'd say most religions are like
Check. Yeah.
not a living leader, but the Pope.
Yeah, but exactly. They
Right.
everyone puts one there. I think except Muslims. I don't think Muslims have a living deity. I don't think they
Do
worship.
Jews have like a living head?
No, but I guess I shouldn't
rabbi?
really talk. Yeah, because is there like a centralized?
I would say Buddhism has the
rabbi?
Dalai Lama.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if there's a centralized.
I don't think so.
No, I guess not. No.
And it's not even Christianity; it's just Catholicism has the Pope.
The Pope, yeah, for whatever.
Which is crazy that just
sect
one
that you
sect
wanna be.
has such a powerful thing. Whatever, but yeah, Dalai Lama. But okay, yeah. Living leader to whom, or you could say Trump.
yeah, that's
Donald
what's
Trump.
gonna come up today, no matter what.
Yeah, it has to. Sorry, guys, but like,
Not sorry, fuck you.
no. Well,
They wouldn't be listening to this.
It's true. It's true. But if you found yourself,
We just talked about evolution. They all turned it off if they were here.
well, here's my thing though. Like, maybe we haven't been appealing ever to QAnon MAGA psychos, but someone who voted for Trump, who's like, I think he's a good guy. It's like,
But by now,
yeah,
you're in a cult. By now, if you're still hanging out, I totally get the people in the beginning that were like,
Yeah,
we need a change. It's new blood. Maybe he'll help us.
He was
He's
trying
a
to
good
do the whole like
businessman.
anti.
Yeah, I get that and falling for that. But then when you see the true colors, it's time to fucking jump shit.
Right, and that's not to say that like Biden's not a dinosaur
I
walking around in circles, but like
we're not here for the U.S. government, regardless.
Thank you.
Like, that's
yeah,
not
this
what
is
we're
not
doing.
this is not some kind of like
No, I'm
sleeper
not,
Democrat thing.
I'm not left. I'm not right.
I'm awake.
I'm looking to jump off this rock.
I have a brain that
I'm waiting for the spaceship.
Yeah, actually, if one of these cults could be right, that'd be awesome.
That would be amazing.
Besides the castration,
Barney Nettles. Barney Nettles.
The group is preoccupied with bringing in new members. I think that's any group of anything, right?
Sometimes. See, like, because like you just said, Heaven's Gate was not like that. Heaven's Gate, he did. Marshall Applewhite, I don't know why I said Nettles, because that's her name. Marshall Applewhite did not punish or force people, and he did not actively seek members himself.
Is this the T and toe?
Yeah, T and doe and T.
T.
So he was very much like, if you want to go, go.
Well, in the beginning of Heaven's Gate, they were doing PR stuff, trying to recruit a ton of members. For them, they consolidated, and again, we can get into each one specifically, but I remember their story is that they actually started to catch a lot of shit, and things were starting to fail, so they put up walls and became very, like, exclusive because it was like a self-preservation thing.
Yeah, so but my point is that he wasn't
like
overly focused on it. Like, he was able to let...
Well, they had to change.
But some of them don't. That's my point. Like,
right.
Some of them are like, we keep... This is it.
No
you
matter
go
what.
out... let's talk about religion. Jehovah's Witness. Church of Latter-day Saints. They do not stop. They are out there,
Have you
out there,
had,
out there.
Someone knocking on your door?
Yes. Yeah.
Here?
In Phoenixville, yes.
Really? Okay.
I think someone that lived in this house, in my house, was a Jehovah's Witness, because they like were surprised that it was me, and they were like, "Oh, what about this person?" And
yeah.
So, but yeah, they haven't come back since.
You were like, I put him in the basement.
Yep.
You
know that mound in my backyard?
What about Farmingdale?
Honestly, I think I had definitely Jehovah's Witness, but I actually had Mormons in Farmingdale.
Mormons.
Yeah, like 2 kids and like ties came.
I never knew who was what.
And when I lived in Wheaton Heights too, I had Mormons come to the house, because that was the first time I ever saw one, because I could not wrap my head around the fucking pamphlet they gave me.
Dude. Oh shit. Totally related to you. Well, I'll talk about it in a sec. But yeah, I when I lived in that cottage in Amityville, which is crazy because it's the only time in my life I've had this. But you remember it was a so when I say cottage, I had a 1-bedroom house,
like a pool house,
way in the back of someone's property.
Yeah.
They would walk the fucking whole thing. If you remember, there was that big super church on 110 in Amityville when you got off Sunrise Highway, or Southern State.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know what their denomination was.
I don't know.
I worked overnights when I lived there. I worked Monday and Tuesday. It was always Wednesday morning, but Tuesday nights I worked from 10 p.m. to 8 in the fucking morning, right? Which means I woke up at 8 p.m. the night before, was working all night.
That's why
finally get home.
Quit that place.
I had Marge, and you know, she wants to be out and about doing her fucking thing, right? I finally get to sleep, and I had to sleep during the day, and without fucking fail, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, something like that, I get a knock on the fucking door. Marge starts barking like crazy.
I wonder if they keep
It's
notes.
the same 2 assholes. But I eventually said to him, I was like, I'm a fucking Jew. Leave me alone.
But I wonder if, like, you're, like, as a single person, like,
I'm more susceptible.
Not owning a house, like, they clearly can tell, like, you rent.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if they're like, we gotta keep going. Like, this is a good one. Like, we can keep going for this guy.
He looks sad.
We'll get there on the right day. Yeah.
He looks like a sad.
Yeah.
Sad.
We heard him crying in the shower.
I'm surprised no one's knocked on this door.
Are you okay, sir?
No, I'm not.
Thank you for asking.
Take me to your lizard.
All right. Okay, let's get through this list.
The group is preoccupied with making money.
No, well, I'm just going to let you go. We'll talk about it because we're going to talk about it.
Okay, yeah, let's just run it. Questioning.
But that is religion. That I would agree. Yes.
Yeah, 100%. Why are they passing around that bullshit
Yep.
when they're tax-free? Questioning, doubt, and dissent are discouraged or even punished. America. Mind-numbing techniques such as meditation, chanting, speaking in tongues, denunciation sessions, debilitating work routines are used to suppress doubts about the group and or its leaders. So again, nothing wrong with meditation, but people will.
Well, I have to interject on that because
Yep.
you want to know religion or whatever. So I feel like that is definitely religion too, because I would consider that being like, say, 10 Hail Marys.
Yeah. Also, God forbid you bring up the fact that like that dude wasn't born on that day.
Well, they would, but my point, they'd be like, okay, so you have to pray about that.
Right.
Like you need to confess, you need to pray about that.
Or, it's only recently that they're accepting homosexual or alternative like genders and sexualities. It's like up until very recently they'd be like, "Oh no, you're not supposed to be who you really are."
Yeah, change.
Yeah. The Bible or this book
radical.
says
They
whatever.
take you like radical fucking.
Yeah, I don't want to just keep like bashing on Christianity. It is most organized religions. Orthodox Jews, they don't even like touch. No, I know. I just can't not use them for the example every time because it's the biggest thing in our country. Leadership dictates sometimes in great detail how members should think, act, and feel. For example, members should get permission from leaders to date, change jobs, get married, clothes to wear, where to live, how to discipline children, so forth. God, I mean, it's just such religion.
But that's when I'm out. Like, that's the kind of part. That's the shit that gets me gone.
Yeah, and I think we're starting to get to a point where it's like, at what point do you start asking your own questions? So you see yourself in the mirror and be
I don't look good in red, man.
Yeah, that,
Ooh,
or why are they
turtleneck is
telling
itchy,
me
bro.
that I have to like give my kids away or something?
Yeah,
like
well,
that. How the fuck do you not at some point?
I don't know. That shit's nuts.
The group is elitist, claiming a special, exalted status for itself, its leaders, and or members. For example, the leader is considered the Messiah, or whatever. Or the group has a special mission to save humanity. That's also another thing, too, is it's always like some altruistic, beautiful, we're doing all this to save people.
Yeah.
That's always the thing, is we're saving everyone. The group has a polarized us versus them mentality, which causes conflict with the wider society.
Check.
War. Group's leader is not accountable to any authorities.
I'm not gonna. You know
Just
which
gonna
one
leave
that
that.
sounds like. Yep,
Just
you're
gonna
gonna go
leave
right
that
over that
right
one, right?
there.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I'm committing all these crimes, and it doesn't matter. The group teaches or implies that its supposedly exalted ends justify means. That members themselves would have considered unethical before joining the group. So,
yep.
Right,
Again, skip it.
Because the leadership, well, that or even just go to war and kill
that's
these
what
fucking
I'm saying.
people
Just
for no reason.
Skip it.
Everything's a cult. The leadership induces guilt feelings in members in order to control them. Yeah, guilt is always a driving factor. Members' subservience to the group causes them to cut ties. This is a huge one. Cut ties with family and friends. Give
One
up
of the
personal
more
goals and activities.
Unbelievable ones. A lot of times.
Like literally, and I think this is the one difference between when if you want to draw a hard line between like religion and cults, is that I don't think your church or your synagogue or whatever is ever going to be like, yo, you're not allowed to talk to your family anymore.
No.
Right? They can say all kinds of shit.
I mean,
they don't believe XYZ.
I'm
but
sure there are some.
Yeah, well,
but the vast majority of organized religions that are accepted in the world aren't cutting you off from your social circles.
Right, you're like in Louisiana revival tent where they're like speaking in tongues. Like maybe I don't fucking.
I meant more like something like those. If you go to like Scientology, like they're gone. Like that's considered a religion. We all know it's not, but like
it's Scientology. Just that word. It's like, oh, we're studying science here?
No, it's science fictionology. He was a science
Yeah.
fiction writer.
No, that's oh my god. Should we start with Scientology? I guess
I
we're
don't
we're
even
gonna
wanna
get
start,
into
I
some
don't even want to talk about
cults.
Scientology.
We're gonna skim the surface because we've been talking about like maybe doing a Scientology.
Yeah, we should do a
specific
whole
episode.
thing.
And I promise it won't include clips of Leah Remini speaking because, like, I think the only thing that ever made me want to join Scientology is her fucking documentary shit.
Some of the stuff in that was crazy.
Okay, no, well, in the very beginning, like the first half of the first season, it's all like her focused.
Yeah,
And then
the
I
one when
think
she interviews the other
everyone realized they're like, oh, she's the least likable part
Yeah.
of this.
Well, they got
So
that
we're gonna
Sea org girl.
Yeah, and the Australian guy, but like my point is just that they all collectively, like as far as like a show for ratings, they were like, let's move away from focusing on her because like, you would have people talking about their terrible life, and she'd be like, "Yeah, when I was on King of Queens," it's like, no, shut the fuck up for a second. It's like if Danny Masterson now was like complaining about.
I didn't want to talk about because it could. Yeah.
Well, it's current shit.
I know,
dude's
but
serving
that's why
40
Scientology
years.
itself is just fucking quicksand.
Well, let's. I think it's a good place to start because it's very well known.
Okay.
Whether you know that it's a cult or not, or the specifics, you've heard Scientology before.
Yeah. Well, and you and people in the public eye are proud Scientologists.
Right. Like we're all still seeing Mission Impossible 9 or whatever the fuck it
I'm not,
is.
but okay.
You know? Yeah, but you know what? He's still my favorite character in Tropic Thunder.
Oh my God! Yes, he was. He
Right?
was good in Tropic Thunder. I gotta give him that. I gotta give him that shit.
Like the dude can act.
Yeah.
And also they talk about like immortality if you're a true believer. Fucking Tom Cruise has not aged in 25 years.
Oh, yeah.
20 They showed that clip of like him with the director of Top Gun,
He's a vampire.
and that guy looks like a fucking grandpa.
like Gandalf now.
And and it's like anytime I'm like completely done with believing anything, I'm like, but Tom Cruise, man, he's
Lizard
hanging off
people.
the side of bomber jets.
Yeah, man. See, I told you.
Doing but they have a ton of money, and they were really, really smart. In what was it, 93, Scientology like fought the IRS and essentially won the tax exempt like church
religious status.
Yeah.
Yeah, they worked hard on that one.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Stavich fucking broke his back trying to get that shit. Went on TV and made a fool of himself multiple times.
But just getting celebrity backing.
Yeah. Again,
it was
like
John
you said,
Travolta until they
advertising.
got like a better. Yeah. So sales.
They do good with their making it feel exclusive. So from what I understand, like once you're part of it, like it's like, okay, you want to be part of it? Cool. Yeah. Now you're in one layer of this exclusive group. But wait, there's a door over here. You got to get to that one. That's the good shit.
So
and they keep upping the ante, which is a tactic.
The carrot on the end of the stick.
Yeah.
So you're just constantly chasing the next level
Of
and
like exclusivity. They're very much on like exposure and like you want to be in the party where John Travolta is.
Yes.
Like you can't just walk into a Scientology party and be at that level. Like you got to like go up and pay your way up to.
Actually, Leah
Tom
Remini
Cruise.
spoke about it of like they are smart and treating their celebrities in a very different way.
Yeah.
Then so I we have to talk about it in that it's the most like modern commercially whatever.
Well, it's the newest of the organized religions.
Well, yeah.
That's like accepted, and their tactics are extremely cult-like compared to the others.
The more you learn too of just how much goes on behind the scenes, but I think a lot of these cults, it's not unique to Scientology that there is again, like a pecking order, a ladder to climb.
Yes, but there's
And if you're not satisfied, and here's the thing. I think as we go through the different ones, this is a recurring theme for me. It's brilliant psychologically. I want to just say this, and I'm not supporting or complimenting cults, right? However, it is brilliant psychology.
Master manipulators.
Right.
Yeah.
Master manipulators in figuring out a
Insane
way
narcissist.
to, I think across the board, figure out how to convince you that if you are feeling like what we talked about, like at what point do you look in the mirror and say like, what in the fuck is going on? They have reshaped the conversation that your brain, your internal thought process will be like, well, then there's something wrong with me.
So
I'm the problem.
I have a perfect example of, and we'll move on from Scientology to another cult.
Yeah.
So there's an exact moment in one of the documentaries on Nexium where that thing you're talking about happens. Nexium. So that's like that newer cult that they had a celebrity, the girl from Smallville.
I don't know about them yet.
Okay. So
But go on.
Nexium, Keith Raniere was the head of Nexium. But I'm not going to get into
Isn't
his
that
tactics.
an antacid pill?
He's actually a genius, like actual IQ genius.
Okay.
But very sick person. He's in jail for a number of years now too.
Oops.
But one of his tactics was he had people brand themselves with his initials. So in this documentary, the woman that he's like really nurturing her and like pushing her up. She's really good at recruiting.
Yeah.
Like she's that kind of person that like look at what you could be.
Yeah.
Like if she's marketing herself, she's going out. She's told, meet these girls here. You guys are gonna go get tattoos. She gets there, not tattoos. They're holding down a girl, fucking screaming with a fucking branding iron. She's there, and she's like, in her mind, she's saying, I should fucking run.
This is crazy.
I should be gone. What the fuck? I don't want to do this. Cut to like after when she's getting it done, she's now rewarding herself with dopamine, saying, look at how strong I am.
My commitment.
Look at my commitment. I did it. Like I
Yes.
was going to run, but I stayed. Look at how good I...
Yeah.
And she's saying that she's actively thinking that
Yeah.
in the moment. Like that flight takes over me. Yo.
Well, it's you know what though? It's such a it's a really good conversation about what actually is reality, right? Because her reality from when she was thinking this is batshit crazy to look how strong I am.
Yeah.
It's this. She didn't leave, right? She's not in a different place.
No.
She's in the exact same place doing the exact same thing. And just her ability, or they talk about like denial as a drug, like our brain's ability to reshape our essential reality,
Cognitive
right?
dissonance.
And then it's these motherfuckers who have just like tapped into that. Because I would say the other side of that, the flip side of that coin, is that now once you've done that crazy thing, so a lot of cults you'll see they keep pushing the envelope.
Yeah,
they keep raising the bar of crazy.
Yeah.
Specifically, not only because they need to come up with new shit, but because the further you've gone, right? And this is just human like denial and rationality, well, all that kind of shit. Like, let's just say hypothetically that you've branded yourself, you've
disconnected,
cut yourself off from your family. Let's say you've given away all your money. I don't know, and you killed your dog, right? Like you did all this for a fucking cult, right?
Yeah.
The more crazy shit you do, the harder it's going to be to come back from that.
Yeah.
Because if at this point, like Scientology, and I know we don't want to like harp on that, but Scientology, most people know by now that like you're not learning the actual history of the religion until you're at like stage 8 or 9.
You don't even get the book,
which is a ton of money,
pay for it.
which is a ton of shit, and then you find out about the lizard people dropping 747s into volcanoes,
and now you're too far gone.
Right.
Yeah.
So what you would have to do in that moment is say, "Oh my God, I've been completely wrong and sort of insane for what 6, 8,
however long,
12, 48
sometimes
months."
Decades.
Years. Right. Right. So the further you're in, the more it's like any fucking motherfucker at a dead end job. You're like, well, this is my life.
Yeah, that's all I know how
This
to
is
do.
who I am.
On the other end of that, like, so what Keith Raniere and Nexium's tactics was like he would do that. He'd have you do crazy shit, write people off, but he would like also then have you isolate yourself like with a elder, whatever you want to call it, and you would, or by yourself, you would write down like your darkest feelings about people.
Yeah, which Scientology
and then
does.
you would hand it to them, and then like, oh, if you do anything, we'll fucking dox you. Like everyone you know, that all your fucking alleys of support are gonna be fucking mad at you because you just wrote this letter about how you slept with this person's husband, and like, yeah. So then they fucking weaponize
entrapment,
all that shit you've done, or like you say, like someone like Charles Manson is gonna have you go out and kill people, and then what do you do?
Right.
You kill. I can't
You've
go
crossed
on.
that
These
line.
people are the only people protecting me right now because they know what I did.
Right.
And if they like, I'm done. If I
It's
find
too late.
out, yeah,
it's too late.
So
Yeah.
like
The whole storyline with Travolta in Scientology is that everyone has these like homosexual rumors about him, and he allegedly like admitted to shit in these things, and now he has a wife and kids and family and all that, like, so he can't.
Yeah, they'll ruin his career. But
right. And then
can we just hold on? Time out.
Yeah.
Time out. I should have talked about this at the top.
Mm.
Cat fucking Williams. Have you listened to anything he's fucking said about people right now? Because it's right on that fucking line of like shit on celebrities. Yeah,
the comedian.
Yeah, he's out there fucking like
he's back,
but not like doing comedy. Like he's back just on like podcasts, fucking like bashing the kings of comedy. Like not just like, oh, I don't like their shit. Like people are gay, people have affairs, fucking people are crazy. They're being bought off. They're Illuminati. Like he's fucking 2024 has got Cat Williams fucking hard.
Okay. I will say I really enjoy his stand-up shit.
He lost
it. Yeah.
Get into it. Just it's a rabbit hole.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, you were saying like Travolta has
skeletons.
Skeletons, probably.
Yeah. So
agreed.
And the funny thing that came up because like he thought he was going to be the Scientology golden boy, and then Tom Cruise signed on, and they were like, "Hey, Travolta, move the fuck over."
Well, that whole thing is crazy too
now
because
he's kind of trapped in that he can't.
Well, they take everything away from him.
Right.
The whole Tom Cruise poster boy for Scientology is hilarious because that's who Miscavige wants to be.
He is like the same height.
Yeah, and he like cuts his hair like him. You could totally just look at him and be like, yo, the guy wants to be fucking Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
I think it's hilarious.
Totally.
All
right, let's go through some.
All right, so I'll this is how I was going to start. Like, we'll start with Heaven's Gate because if there was a cult that I would join, it's Heaven's Gate.
Well, let's how about we do this? Just for anyone who might not be familiar.
Well, I was going to explain. Yeah.
Just like do a quick synopsis of these were the motherfuckers who all wore Nikes.
Yeah.
If you were born
in the 80s or
before
early
1990, like this was like 93, 94.
It's in here somewhere. Yeah. 97.
97. Okay.
Yeah.
I remember.
100%.
I didn't know. Obviously,
I had a
little
bit of an idea of like that there were people dead in the house and there was a bunch of
dead
them.
people all wearing the same Nike shoes. That's all I knew.
Yeah. All right. So, Heaven's Gate, who originally Heaven's Gate is actually not even their name. That was never their name. They never called themselves Heaven's Gate. It was the name of their website. They're the Human Individual Metamorphosis and Total Overcomers Anonymous. That's the name of the actual cult. That's what they call themselves.
I think we should stick with Heaven's Gate.
Yeah, it rolls off the tongue a little bit better. Yeah. All right. So it was an American New Religious Movement, also known as a cult, whose members committed mass suicide in 1997. It was founded in 1974 by Bonnie Nettles and Marshall Applewhite. Dude, his middle name is Herf. So his middle name is Marshall Herf Applewhite. Like I just can't get stumble saying that guy's name because I just want to call him Herf.
Also, it was he was in some sort of psychiatric facility after having some sort of breakdown, I remember, and she was a nurse. She was his attending
Yeah, and so they also again they had this weird relationship of like controlly, face of the business, but puppet strings.
Yeah.
They were also known as T and Do, respectively.
And that's from like Sound of Music, like do re ti fa do mi do, like that whole like song, like do and ti. Yeah.
So their basic concept was built around ufology, which is UFO religion. And it was centered around the fact that they could transform themselves into immortal extraterrestrial beings by rejecting their human nature. And that would ascend them to heaven, and they would refer to that as the next level. And in the beginning, it started that like they physically were going to change into gray aliens. Like their bodies would change into gray aliens, and then they would go to heaven. Yeah. Later
on a spaceship,
when people died, and that didn't happen, they adapted.
There's a lot of gray area in between. So their whole it's so funny, and I know you wanted to bring this up later, so I'm not going to lean on it. I think when we were talking about our notes, we wanted to talk about like why did so much of this shit pop up in the 70s, right? So I'm gonna put a stamp on that.
I'm gonna end up talking about that with this one too. That's kind of what I want to talk about.
Okay,
a little bit.
So if you want to get into that,
now,
yeah,
that's fine because part of the reason why
we want to say more cults before we talk about how
we could do that.
A lot of them started in like the 70s, early 80s.
Yeah, well, and this one went for a long time, but yeah. We could
this one right. So here's my thing. What I was going to say is their whole by denying their human nature. If you watch the documentaries and footage and stuff like that, what they did was they just started to become increasingly more androgynous. They started to become increasingly less gender specific.
There was no sex allowed.
Not only that, but there was just no such thing as
in their
eyes of like male female.
Yeah,
right?
They would do things like I forgot what the exact term they used, but it was like almost like a quiet time where you could only say yes, no, and like one other short phrase. And then they went even further to like start wearing masks and hoods while they did it, so they were even less human, and you have even less reason to talk to someone.
Sure. I guess what I was trying to say though is that. What was considered some kind of weird alternative what's the word, like frame of mind or way of thinking, right? Because society was so restrictive, you could only access this kind of like genderless androgynous thing through some fucking cult, right?
Okay, I can see that. I see where you're going with that.
So
that's different than what I was going to go for the time period.
I think about this with serial killers too. Is when you think about a lot of serial killers, and you think a lot of because the one guy too was sort of a closeted homosexual.
Herf was fucking gay as the sun.
Is the sun gay?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, why not?
Just bright and shiny.
It's not a bad thing.
Yeah,
why not?
Just gay as the sun.
I don't know.
But okay. So
I was going to say $3 bill, but people say that a lot. So.
That's my point. Is that had you just been a little more inclusive, right? Had people just been a little more open-minded.
So okay,
right?
so it's kind of like what I was going to say. Exactly. So the reason why.
Let me just finish my thought. In that, like, a lot of like you think about Dahmer, you think about John Wayne Gacy. You think about a lot of these cults, is that because people were so homophobic, you needed to create this off the fucking charts alternative way of thinking, whether that was killing people, whether that was cults, in order to make your quote unquote alternative lifestyle okay. And just to clarify, what I'm saying is that gay should never have had to justify themselves. It's just people.
Yeah.
Right?
So,
but they should have never had to justify themselves in like, oh, it's because we're aliens. That no, man. If everyone would have just stopped being homophobic, you would have had so many less. I think about serial killers specifically, but it's just like if we could have had like less of a fucking clamp down society, you wouldn't need this extreme alternative bullshit.
Yeah.
Right?
So
you don't have to be an alien.
You're on the extreme end of that. So even
I'm saying that like trans people are not aliens. They're fucking people.
One
so,
second.
Yeah, sorry.
That's extreme. Yes, you have to. That was in the 70s, and you had to do that on a just a regular more every person note.
Yeah.
They had to be nerds. Like this was a club of nerds. This was the people that like sci-fi. And they had to do it in a closet. Like they had to like Star Trek and Next Gen fucking in a closet.
Forget even about like your own like gender identity. It was like if you're even into fucking Star Trek.
Yeah. They were into Star Wars and like that
cult.
was super fringe at the time and people were like nerd. So like if you also that was another trigger to isolate someone. If you were feeling isolated because oh shit, I like nerdy shit and no one likes me. Oh, these people fucking play in the woods all nerdy like me.
So here, so I think my main point was to say that,
and I was agreeing
society.
with you.
No, I know.
But I was saying for myself, this is where, if this cult was around then, if I was around then in the beginning, like this is how they got me because
their original thing was like in the early 70s, New Age and UFO culture and sci-fi was booming, and it was the first time ever. We don't realize. And I was listening to a podcast. I forget what it was about, but we don't realize collectively as a society just how like insanely influenced by our time period we are. Right? Like life 100 years ago would look completely foreign. Whether you took someone from 1920 or you put one of us back there. It would look like a completely different
language
planet.
Is a perfect example of that because you wouldn't even be able to talk to them.
Right. You talk about
like they'd be like, "What? A car?"
It was nuclear semiotics. So right now there's a lot of groups that are like, okay, so all this like nuclear waste, when we bury it, how do we tell people 10,000 years in the future that, hey, this is...
Don't blow this up or dig it up or use it. Yeah.
Languages, signs, all that shit, they're so temporary.
Yeah.
If you even look at English
we can't
from
read
300 years ago...
temples and the pyramids and shit, we have trouble.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's not even like, again, like you were saying, that's like yesterday. On like world scale, that's like, you don't know what the person that like was in your house yesterday said.
Right.
Like he wrote down paper, left it, you moved in, and you're like, I can't read this.
Right.
Like,
so these days, you know, like our kids are going to come up in a world where like gender is not such a fucking hard line. Sexuality is not such a hard line. And yeah, you're right, dude. I got fucking beat up pretty bad for being a nerd.
Yeah. Well, that's,
and you're only talking about 30 years ago.
That's
so
exactly
like,
what they did.
So
though.
that's such a good point. Is what I think my overall scope is. I completely agree with you. What I'm saying is I'm trying to like put like a nice like end cap on it.
Yeah.
Is that society is also just as responsible for these cults.
Oh, absolutely. But I think that also comes in
just
then on
as
the
responsible.
religious side. That's like what we were saying at the top. It's like you're okay with this, but you're not okay with this. Like it's just a choice that you're making as a society to say, okay,
this is okay, this isn't.
The cross is acceptable, but if I see that fucking cult symbol, like, oh, stay away from me. Like,
yeah, or even just, you know, think about like how like why were we fighting for gay marriage for so long? Like how could this matter to anyone?
It's not like gay people are new. Like it's not like, you know what I'm saying? It's
right.
Not, but that's what they would make you seem. They would like people that are against like gay marriage and transgender people will have the argument like it's increasing. How they're turning the kids gay? Like no, they're just comfortable telling you that they're gay.
We're making a society where it's okay.
Yeah, it's not like more of them.
Who
it's
you
just,
are?
Yeah,
Exactly. The numbers are increasing. Yeah, because they're not afraid of being fucking murdered anymore.
Yeah, they don't have to be in a cult or a serial killer to fucking.
Exactly. That was my point.
Yeah, no, I got you 100%.
So much of this
it was just
shit.
right along the lines of like how I said, like I felt like watching Heaven's Gate and like watching how it formed. The other thing about it for me was like in the year 2024, I have extreme outlets for that. I can go online. I can look it up. I can, I can research. I could do all these things. Like no one can centralize that information.
Even the D&D thing we did, right, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I guess I keep giving teasers for our next episode.
Yeah.
But like we did this Dungeons and Drafts. It's like they bring D&D games to breweries. that was my first time ever playing Dungeons and Dragons, if you even
Fun
want to
as
say
hell,
it
man.
that way. And it was, God, dude, it was just the most authentically awesome experience I've had in a really long time, in a genuine way. It wasn't about like getting fucked up. It wasn't about whatever. And I hate to even admit it, but there's definitely part of me that just had it so ingrained for so long. When me and you were coming up, man, you were a
you
fucking
couldn't play.
nerd. I love Star Wars my entire life,
Yeah.
and like, I'm glad it's mainstream now.
That's why there's
But at the
lightsabers on my wall, and like I collect because I'm
At the
growing up. I'm
same
doing the shit that
time-
people wouldn't accept when I was a kid.
Right. At the same time, like now I almost, it's that idea of like, well, now I almost hate that it's so mainstream because I'm like, you don't know what I went
and you're
through.
ruining it, but that's a whole
Yeah,
other
yeah.
thing.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But
No, I
yeah,
agreed.
It's just
But if
society
you-
was so restrictive
But
for
to bring it
so
back
long.
to cults, like in the 70s, there was no outlets at all, like we were saying. So he just isolated all that information and was like, you're not going to know what the aliens are saying
Right.
unless you talk to me. On the other hand,
Well,
now
that's always the MO, is to be like, I'm the one.
I know. What I think funny is funny, like watching the documentaries and watching Applewhite talk. Like now in 2024, he would just be on like one of those like ancient alien shows. Like he would just be one of the people they cut to and be like, okay, Herf Applewhite, what do you have to say about the impending alien? And he would just be a dude.
And he wouldn't have had
And
to
he-
be involved
Nope.
in killing people.
He would just be a fucking guy on TV, and like
Well,
everyone would know who he was.
What's funny, or whatever, maybe not funny, but Heaven's Gate is a really good. By the way, that documentary on HBO, fucking 10 out of 10, really well done. The cult almost started getting away from him. Just quick overview. At some point, there was this, because like you had said that they were very asexual. So at some point, it wasn't him. It was the members who started pushing for this castration thing.
7 or 11
I forget.
of them actually
But
castrated themselves.
they started castrating themselves because, like, if you looked at the text, it
What do I
fucking
need this for?
said
Yeah,
that,
it
right?
basically,
Of like, but then even he was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And I forget if he went through with it or not.
No, he was castrated.
He did,
Yes,
yeah.
He
but it
went
was
through
not his fucking idea.
Not to start.
Um,
No, that's fucking insane, bro.
Yeah, to be like now you're now you're on the train. You're just
Not-
on the train. It's left the station.
Dude, if the
like,
train's going 150 miles an hour, I'm
jumping
still
off
jumping off
with
I'll
my
die.
balls.
I'll die. I'll be a splatter on a
holding
wall
my
with
fucking
my
dick
nuts.
and balls.
Yep.
Just
Especially not from like a.
you never take me to the street. No.
Especially not from like a dude in a garage. It's like, here's scissors.
Yeah, they were in the basement.
Yeah, fuck that.
Well, but here's a side note to that, which is maybe why some of it worked out. Heaven's Gate is a really good example because half of these motherfuckers were like Ivy League professors. They were very
motherfucking nerds.
intelligent, right? But intelligent.
Yeah.
And so a misnomer, or whatever the fucking word is for cults, is that what kind of fucking moron do you have to be?
Yeah, I think more now in like modern day, as cults are having documentaries and stuff,
Yeah.
I think people are noticing more like, oh, like these are just like
No, you can be super smart.
regular fucking people, and we're like doing good in their lives and got sucked up. All right, so let's just finish. Let's finish.
Go through some cults.
Of Heaven's Gate, because we have to talk about how they ended. So on March 26, 1997, deputies in the San Diego Sheriff's Department discovered the bodies of 39 active members of the group, including Applewhite, in a house in San Diego. They had participated in a coordinated series of ritual suicides. They were waiting for a comet Hale-Bopp. And for anyone who doesn't know what Hale-Bopp was,
Hale-Bopp.
their
whole thing was Hale-Bopp.
Yeah, is a comet that comes around in our solar system like every 2,000 or 3,000 years. Like the time keeps changing. They just changed it. It's like 3,000 something years now. But like they were like, if they thought that was their ship,
It was,
and they had to like coordinate with the time that it was over them so they could go up into it.
Well,
Which is
it
crazy.
was what's the word? It was like a madness of convenience in that, so because they had these intelligent people, and this is not unique to them, a lot of cults, they make promises. They make very specific promises. And a lot of it is doomsday shit. That's why we did Fudgement Day for the beer. But, like, they make very specific promises. And then those things don't happen because, hello, right? Real life. And so they have to up the ante. And, like, it just so happened that the Hale-Bopp comet was going to be, like, coming through around the same time that they had made some promises. And they were like, that's the ship. That's
Exit,
the thing.
Done.
Remember the thing we said? This.
But that also
this.
lends it to like kind of what you were saying about like it was getting out of his hands. Like, and he saw this way to be like, okay, well, we can't miss this one, because the reason why I say that is because they had attempted this other times. Like they had planned this, and like it just didn't go through. Like they said, "Oh, don't come today," and like it was like, they didn't really want to do it, and then they had to do it. So he gave him like a deadline and a reason to do it.
It was kind of a, in Back to the Future 3, where there's the windmill, the point of no return.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like that. Sorry, I turned this light on.
I know. I can play with it later. I don't know why it got dark.
I'm in a very dark place. Well, this is my aura coming off on my solo camera.
Light.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any like cults you want to kick it off, like talk about particularly?
Yeah, I really I like the Rajneesh.
Yeah. So they're okay. They're fucking crazy. This
got
shit
there. They got
fucking
there.
Nuts.
Okay, but hang on.
The whole story from
okay.
the beginning to the not on
not
like a
the
cult
beginning.
level.
No, not the beginning.
Yes. The fact that like he started where he started and it ended where it ended is fucking nuts.
So if you're going to watch one thing, I would say Wild Wild Country is one of the best cult documentaries I've ever watched. And the reason I'm saying that is because of the reason I wanted to bring this up is because they do a really good job of letting you decide how to feel about it.
Yeah, they don't show their hand quickly.
For the first fucking part of it, man, for me, that's a cult where it's like, okay, so that I had gotten into like Buddhism in my like Eastern philosophies type shit. I think every American fucking idiot goes through that. At some point you're like, oh, there's a whole other side of the world that's been going on for 10,000 years.
They got
right? Spiritual, whatever. But their whole thing was very much about like spirituality. They had like meditation. They had different shit. It was a very communal, hippie style living. Yes, you had this central figure who was this like guru, but he was this fucking perfect example. And maybe I'm racist, but like it's or this is an example of like a touch of racism. But he is the most guru motherfucking person to ever exist, right? And you didn't know about all their like tax evasion shit in India before they moved here. But the whole concept, and when they first moved to America, so here's a cult, and I don't even want to say cults because I don't think they were that at first. I think you had a kind of new religion. It was a person who was trying to start his own religion based off himself. So yeah, cult.
Bhagwan.
But the Bhagwan.
Bhagwan Shari Rajesh.
But it was based very much in this just spiritual approach to life, right? And they had this sort of oasis in the middle of this like kind of shitty situation in India. Then they leave on mysterious circumstances, but when they come to America, they bought this insanely like desolate ton of fucking land.
Like, no, don't underestimate. Like, they bought like hundreds of acres. Like, it was just nothing there.
Yes.
And they just bought it all.
No, they had, again, he had like a ton of funding. You had a lot of intelligent people involved in this, right? And their initial thing, and here's my question with the Rajneesh. This is the only cult that I'm still like, could things have gone a different way? Like, They
I think they all have that.
hang
point.
on. Well. So also the Sheila woman.
Well, but this is why it's crazy. This is not
she
normal.
took the reins away from him. Okay, but here,
what he did to her was also not like normal and okay.
But when you started hearing him be like, she is a fucking devil woman, you should have been like, oh, okay, this is all bullshit. But that being said, they come to middle of nowhere, Oregon, buy up a ton of land, and they're going to build the new city, the ideal city, right? Based on love,
shit
and
that we've talked
community,
about doing
right?
a million times. Let's buy land and like all our friends just move there, and
right? But
be communist.
Well, you see,
it was
communist.
It was socialism, communism.
Well, you see this on smaller levels with like a kibbutz in Israel, right? Like you have communal environments that work, and you have communal environments or societies that can work on smaller levels, even if they're based on religion, right? Like a lot of kibbutz in Israel it's not part of the Israeli government. It's just they're doing their own fucking thing. It's a hippie commune doing their own fucking thing, right? And like on that level, had you let them just do that, I don't think that they would have tried to take over. So these motherfuckers.
See, I don't think you cannot, because I don't think you cannot, because there's another cult that.
Okay,
someone will.
Well, let me just. So these people wanted to have their own commune and build their own society, their own city, in the middle of nowhere, right? What stopped them? I want to say initially, and I know I'm like oversimplifying it, but what stopped them, or what caused the strife, is that this was either adjacent to or owned by this podunk redneck. It's literally 50 people.
Oh,
the town
yeah,
population.
Yeah.
I forget what it was called. Antelope.
Antelope. Was the name of the town, and there was another. In the Dales. The Dales were the specific.
The Dales is where they went for that was where the local government was. Centered.
Yeah.
But also, I'm usually not siding on the redneck Hicks side, right?
Like,
it's so you had a bunch of like uptight, overly religious, podunk Hicks who were all over 60, being like, their biggest complaint with them is that they were fuck all day and they'd smoke weed, and they were living this alternative lifestyle.
They were taking over their town of 50 people.
Sure, no,
like
not at first though.
No, but even then they were like
just by existing,
by being there. They were they went from 50 to just all these people in red.
600.
They have all that footage of
and they're all wearing the same color. They would all wear maroon, but their biggest complaint is that they fuck all night, and it's like, okay, So my thing is like, if you would have just let them fuck all night, could we have avoided all the other shit?
It would have went a different way in my mind.
Maybe, but so these guys, it essentially they start getting pushback. Even though they're only 50 people, they obviously represent America, and they start getting pushback. And then Rajneesh, I know I've been like sort of defending them up until this point, but like Rajneesh go fucking crazy with like, you're not going to tell us that we can't do whatever we want to do. We're going to take over the town. Then we're going to take over the county. Then we're going to take over the state. And anytime they get pushback on, hey, maybe you're not going to take over the county, they're like, well, then we're going to poison all the food. And
they
then
fucking put
nuts.
salmonella in the sewage system, in the water system.
They had CIA-style spray.
Yeah.
They had a biological lab
so
on the premises.
That's why no one could argue me that this is not one of the craziest like roller coasters of a fucking cult. Like, because their involvement.
Did you watch that documentary?
People, yeah.
The lawyer guy. He makes me cry because the main lawyer guy, he was there for the right reasons.
No, okay, I know. He's close in the background. He's got I think I know.
Yeah, and he eventually is like, he's this gray-haired dude in like an upstairs doing the like. He was there for the right reasons, and he was a really intelligent, common sense guy too. And he's like, a lot of us were there for all the right reasons, and all these other people fucked it up, including within the cult, And it's like, I don't know. That's Rajneesh is the one cult where I'm like, you guys almost had it. You almost had it. Because what is America? It's the cult of fucking patriotism.
Yeah.
What is England? You know, it's a cult of imperialism. Like, everyone has a belief system and an ethos and whatever, and it's shaped by your society. So what happens if these guys were preaching, like, socialism on a loving level?
Someone would have taken over. Because
Yes.
people can't fight back.
And so that's
what
everybody's, and the older I get, the more I realize the only reason we can't have socialism on a global scale is because there's assholes everywhere. Look at what Putin's doing right now. Who would have thought that we'd be having, like, Russia invading Ukraine in 2023? Why are we still doing that? Just be happy with what you have.
You
have a giant country.
But everyone wants
Who
more.
cares?
So that's why that wouldn't work.
Right.
So
it's just human nature.
So that reminds me of the Love Has Won cult, because
all right, so Love Is One is so are you moving on from
we'll move on.
Rajneesh? So Love Is One is which one?
The Mother
Mother God?
Mother God. So in that one,
do you want to talk about Twin Flame first, or
no? We can
this
talk about
one
Twin Flame
first?
after.
Yeah. So now we're moving to more modern. Rajneesh was what? I think it ended in like 85.
That was in late 80s, I think.
Heaven's Gate was like 93.
In 97 it ended with Hail Bop. But
obviously Scientology still goes on.
Yeah.
But
And then we'll jump back, because we're going to go back to the 70s at the end anyway. So Love Is One reminds me a lot of like what you were saying, like Rajneesh. You would think people that are like, let's eat vegan, like don't hurt anybody, like let's just have a morning positivity podcast,
right.
Like, and I text you and while I was watching one of the documentaries and said, like, this cult is different. And when you watch Love Is One, it's a woman on a self-destructive path.
Yo,
who is
it's
able,
a drug addict.
Yes, who is able to find enough. And this one, I'll give you this. Not a lot of smart people, I don't think, in Love Is One.
No. Agreed.
Enough people lost in their life
Yeah.
to pull them into like this commune hippie type ranch where all our money gets pooled. And
she had the most generic new age shit.
It wasn't even like a story.
She
didn't even start. That's my point, is that she
nothing
didn't.
profound. She stole it from her boyfriend or the ex-husband, the old guy.
She was just drunk rambling a lot of times, and people were like, she's so smart.
It
like,
was well.
They
she
said
had a
they
charisma.
were high from morning to night.
She had a charisma that people checked in with
because she was like so peaceful, and like
Right.
they would say her energy is good. But I think people that are like lost in society find this woman with property that they can live freely off of, and like that one happened.
Wasn't even her property.
Way quicker than like some of the other cults, because she had like 3 father god people, and that last one, he literally like, and I don't know how they don't like, it's not like in the documentary, but you see it when he talks about coming to that place, and he's like, I was raking the leaves and I just stopped, I stared at the house and was like, this is my fucking house. And it's like, yo.
Well, no, some of the people in that are like, he was insane.
Some of them, but like, I mean, like,
they didn't leave.
But I mean, the documentary people, I mean, like, they didn't like, they still talk to him like he's.
Well, that's how you do a good documentary.
But then you flip it when you make the documentary and you put it out and you say like, okay, well now actually like, no, he fucking was a snake, took over the whole shit. And like she got pushed out of any importance or anything, and he
maybe but I think you were right on the front end of like there wasn't a lot there to begin with.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. So that vacuum was able to be filled quicker. So that guy came in, was like, these are fucking idiots. I'm a lifelong criminal. I'm gonna do a long con on these people and rob them forever and have a lifestyle I want.
Well, no. So the last father god guy, who I think that's who you're talking about. Yeah. For him, I think he was mentally ill, and I think he just was some fucking psycho who like.
But he knew what he was doing.
Well, he took advantage of a situation.
But
right?
That's my point.
The real person who was doing the long con is the guy in that who took all the money.
But again, I don't think that it would have went to like the complete self-destructive where she died and was like her body was transported around in tents and shit.
Well, she
if
was
that
telling
guy was still in charge.
She was telling them that.
But I think she was being influenced by all her boyfriends. So what I'm saying is that I think he would have been like, "Hey,
which again,
you're blue.
Well, this again,
We should stop."
It speaks to this woman was just a very codependent.
Amy Carlson. She was a drug addict and an alcoholic.
Whether it was substance or
100%. Yeah.
Codependent. So, yeah. But that being said, they did, and the reason it ties into the Twin Flames is they managed to start selling shit online, make a lot of money online. Most of their cult was very online centric, which is a new story arc in cults. Is up until I'd say the past 5 years, any cult we learn about, like, yes, does Heaven's Gate, yes, does Scientology use, sure, but like cults now,
there. Like these started.
Here's the perfect fucking example, and I don't think anyone would disagree. The fucking pandemic. You felt lonely.
Yeah.
You were being told you can't leave your fucking house, right? So how are you having any kind of human interaction?
Well, a lot of them
Zoom.
say that in a lot of these newer documentaries about
Right.
the newer cults. Like, I was
pandemic.
isolated.
I was just sitting
I
all
was
by
from my
myself,
job, and
which
my
is
family
what
was
cults
across the
want.
country. Yeah.
They want you alone. But with this
She
one,
was-
I don't know. There was the one guy separate from everything who now took all the money and didn't talk to anyone. That dude that you're talking about, the father god, he was still there at the very end when the cops show up, and he's still trying to say, like, he still drank the Kool-Aid. There was the other guy who had set up all the things and was ahead of all the money and was pushing people to keep selling, and he took all the accounts and fucking bailed.
Yeah,
that guy was just a long con.
And I think that
he never believed.
He didn't like leave the way he did. I don't think that like she would have died. I don't like. That's what I'm saying. Like this one that took over was like void of any emotion. Like he didn't, like you said, he's mentally ill. Like he didn't care.
He didn't have that capacity. I think a really good example of just how powerful these cults are is the colloidal silver with her, in that like she literally was turning into a gargoyle.
Yeah,
this was some hippie alt approach to medicine, is that if you make some sort of colloidal silver, I mean, it's fucking silver. It is the mineral silver, whatever that is on the periodic table, mixed with other shit. And what they would do is like they'd melt it down, mix it or cut it with other shit, and then put that into a tonic and call that a healing liquid. And their answer, the sicker she got. Now, most of what was going on with her was liver failure because she was a fucking full-blown alcoholic. The sicker she got,
organ failure. Like she had multiple organs failing.
Yeah, but like once your liver goes,
you're
fucked.
Toast.
And they were anti-medicine. They were never going to bring her to a hospital. All that kind of shit.
It's
but
it feels different to me.
She is turning more and more into a fucking blue stone person, and they're all like, "Yeah, the transformation's happening."
She's straight up fucking dead, and they're like, "She's still warm." So she's leaving rigor. She comes out of rigor, and she starts move. Her hands are moldable again. It's like, oh my god, she's ascending faster than anyone ever. It's like, what the fuck, bro?
So, and we have the veterinary background, but what a lot of people don't realize is, yes, first the body dies, then it goes into rigor, then it comes out of it. A lot of people don't know. Yeah, but a lot of people don't know that like rigor ends.
Yeah.
So when, like, yes, you have that total stiff thing, and then that will end, and now all of a sudden, so yeah, these idiots were like, you can move her hand now, she's coming back.
Can you imagine?
And they were reading
the blue dead person's hand. Like, it looks like they opened a fucking sarcophagus,
a fucking pyramid.
Yeah,
it's King
a fucking
Tut.
yeah. It looked. She looked like a straight up mummy,
dead for 10 days.
And they had her like in a bathtub in a hotel. They put her in a fucking car.
When they're like,
they got pulled the fuck over with a dead person in the car.
They had sunglasses
to
on her.
be fucking white, man. Can you imagine Could you imagine me driving just? Yeah, that's my person. I wrapped up like a mummy in the back
really
seat.
drunk.
Yeah, sir, can you step out of the car, please?
Really, really drunk.
We need to talk to that. Even these days, they always need to make contact with the people.
Though, there is a situation where the cop was like, "Oh my God, look at these psychos! I'm just gonna." You know how some days you show up to work and you're hungover and you're like,
I don't want to be eating today.
I just can't.
I'm not
Yeah. Like, look.
This shit is too crazy.
Right. You
Goodbye.
pull this car over because they have a taillight, and you're like, I don't have the energy
no
today.
way.
My mother-in-law's coming over later.
Someone else will get him down the road.
I gotta.
She's already dead.
Shit, I gotta meet with my accountant. I just can't. I can't do this today.
That's fucking. They're crazy, man. How can you?
Oh,
So he's nuts. But how can you, as the girls, be like? Okay, and they went over like multiple state lines with a dead body. Like, how can you be like, this is a good idea? Let's do this. This is what needs to happen.
No, the craziest part of Love Has Won, Mother God, is the galactics that she was talking to all these spirits who were supposed to be like really important and like different variations of Christ, right? Because that's what she was.
For me, though, that was all, like you said, like none of this was thought out. She was going online, she was reading fucking forums, and she was like,
no, but
that's a good idea.
Here's some of the galactics. Joan of Arc makes sense.
Yeah. Wait.
Saint George or Germain, whatever the fuck, makes sense.
Robin Williams. Yes.
Wasn't Jude
he was
Law
a genie
on there? And it's like he's alive.
No, but the best is that like there's a part
Donald Trump
when she's dead, and the little girl or the young teenage girl, whatever she is like, "Come on, Robin, just talk to her." And it's like, what you're like praying to Robin Williams right now?
Yeah,
and I'm guaranteed if he could hear you, he's not here.
No, and here's, I mean, there's a lot of red flags. But here's where I personally would have known is that when she wanted to be mean, she was saying that Robin Williams said it. So, like, anytime she was in a bad mood, she'd be like, Robin says your face is fun. Yo, Robin Williams was never mean to anybody.
No, he was the
okay?
nicest dude.
So there's
That's
no,
why he's
like, and you have Donald Trump as one of your galactics, again, who's still alive. Who's sending you messages? Just say Donald.
Yeah, but
said
she
it.
was also like Marilyn Monroe and like Joan of Arc. Like, did you say Joan of Arc? Like, she was like anything that she read, she would just say, and that's like she had no thought plan.
They believed it.
That's why I said there wasn't a lot of smart people in this.
But what was she offering?
I think that, like I said,
she's a living God. That was what she offered.
I think it's a combination of what we've been talking about. One, these people had nowhere else to go. A lot of them were lost in life. Like you said, pandemic. Yeah. We're looking for acceptance. Found this place where, like, oh my God, I can get hugged. I haven't been hugged in a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but then also they're all peaceful and everything, right? You sign up. Like the one girl even said, she's like, I loved it. And she's like, I went to the store to go buy some food. I came back and I got scolded for spending my money. And she's like, then I knew exactly what was up. Like,
yeah,
it's a combination of it's a combination of the place to be accepted. And then I've gone too far. Like, these people isolated themselves.
But how do I turn back?
I have nowhere to go. These people have all my money. They're feeding me.
Most of them, Rajneesh, Heaven's Gate, Love Is One, Scientology for sure. They tell you to cut your fucking family out. You cut everyone out. Twin Flames, too.
Twin Flames does it in a very bitter way.
But
targeted way. It's just crazy.
My point in saying it is like they're not even hiding their MO. It's just like.
But that's why Love Is One, I think, was a combination of those two things and the fact that I don't think these were highly educated people with like hope for their futures anyway.
There's probably an addiction situation there where like all these people, because like his whole thing was like he smoked meth and then they were like, oh, we got to get away from him, but then he came back and everyone loved it.
Yeah, it's again.
I think a lot
situation,
of those people, even involved, were just like, here's a great way for me to justify being fucked up all day, every day.
And I think her situation was just like, I'm gonna have friends while I kill myself. Like, she was a downward spiral like before this whole thing even started.
What is that movie, Leaving Las Vegas, where Nicolas Cage drinks himself to death? It was almost like that.
I don't know if I ever saw that.
Yeah.
Nicky Cage.
Yeah.
All right, so you want to talk about Twin Flame, which is
I feel like we can do twin flame and then start to
get into some crazy shit. No.
Oh, go even further.
Well, we got one.
I was gonna say we should probably start wrapping.
We got one more after.
Almost at the
I want to talk
2 hour
about
mark.
after,
Okay. So twin flames is
this is another one.
Blew my
I don't
fucking
get.
mind.
I don't get this one at all. Jeff and Shalala. Shillelagh or whatever, fucking Shalaya.
I watch
fucking
this,
say it.
so it's on Netflix. Twin Flames. I see their clips, and I'm thinking, what? Just hearing him speak makes me want to fucking jump through the screen.
It's a misogynistic cult. All it is his fucking misogynistic views and like biased views of the world.
Obviously, a fucking
narcissist,
dweeb.
crazy,
but a
fucking control freak. Yeah,
too. Like just a non.
But like, there's a part. So,
all right. So their thing is that they guarantee, literally the words guarantee, they can find your soulmate. Every person has a soulmate. It's called your twin flame, and not only do they guarantee, but only through them can you find your soulmate. And this, again, was started just before pandemic shutdown shit, but like thrived.
But you're saying through them you can find it, but not just because you're part of them. Like, they have to agree to your twin flame. Like,
well, initially, the initial sale was not that it was within the group or not. Like, the initial very beginnings, they were just like, oh, anyone who's struggling in their love life, we guarantee.
Yeah,
like, we're the place.
But on
it was
his
almost like
word,
eHarmony.
But on his word was the okay to pursue that person.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
That's what I mean.
No,
like,
yeah.
Even the person
it took
was
that
dictated.
turn,
like,
but
even in the beginning, because people would say like they'd be like, no, you don't go, like, that one's your twin flame. He did that from the beginning, and like the person was like, I don't like you. Like, I don't want to be with you.
Yes,
He's like, no,
yes,
stalk the shit out of that person until, like, that's not having a choice at all.
Right. But the package that you saw on the shelf was that, oh, these people can find my true love.
Yeah.
That's what brought you there as the, hook, line,
it's like a crazy fucking dating cult. Like, it's
eHarmony
on steroids.
Exactly, and using the whole like Zoom online pandemic, like online only type situation, they really did take advantage of almost this like eHarmony cult vibe.
It's
of like
so
they would do what I thought was genius is that because again, you got to give some of these people credit for the manipulation tactics. They would do their like everything was online, but they'd do group Zoom meetings. So good, like 50, 60, 100 people are on the same group at a time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh yeah.
And then they call you out. And when you look at your fucking screen, it's just, 80 fucking windows of all these people looking at you like, why'd you do this wrong?
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to say whatever you need to say.
Yeah. They get information. They get your
Yeah.
shit. He's getting dirt on everybody to use it against them. But like
Dirt
getting in
and-
like
and
a
also
forum where everyone's seeing it.
It's just the social influence. It's just the peer pressure times
the
a
pressure,
million.
Yeah, it's like being
It
in a
makes
class and being the
you
next
wanna-
one reading.
Right. I think it's from the 70s, but those thought experiments where I forget what this one's called, but there's basically like there'll be a table with 4 or 5 dudes, and then there's a instructor, right? And what you don't realize, let's say you're the subject.
Mm-hmm.
What you don't realize, you think that the rest of us are all subjects. We're not. You're the only subject, right?
That court show.
Yeah, exactly. And so basically it was a thought experiment on you that they'll say something really simple of like, which one of these lines is longer? Or let's just say 2 + 2 = 4. And down the line, you'll be last. And down the line, someone will be like, 2 + 2 is 5. 2 + 2 is 5. 2 + 2 is 5. By the time it gets to you,
you'll be pressured
right?
to say 5.
And most people would be like 5, especially because they would say, that's right.
That's
right.
They've done that.
That's
like,
right.
I've seen so many experiments where they'll have like people like going for an interview,
Yeah.
And they'll sit down in a waiting room, and then all of a sudden everyone stands up, and then the person just like, and then you see the person's
Instinctively
mind
stands up.
like go around the room like, if I'm not standing, I'm the only one that's not standing. That's not okay. And they stand up.
Right.
Like, it's just that
Sheep.
want to be part of
Sheep.
a group. Yeah. But it's also you don't want to be the outlier.
We're animals. We're fucking animals, man. We're herd. So that's the thing of like, that's where, so a lot of these cults, they just rely on like twin flame. It's like you said, you look at these motherfuckers. I didn't even think that they liked each other. The like over time.
She didn't like him. She was just a fucking Stockholm syndrome. She was abused to shit.
Was he abusing her?
Dude, you'll see it on camera. They're talking, and he's like,
he
shut
tells,
up.
like, shut the
shut
fuck
up.
Yeah.
I'm fucking talking. You need to just shut your fucking mouth. And then, like, she goes to talk again. He's like, you're not shutting up. You're not being quiet.
Right.
And, like, she's just like.
But then she would, I would say, either overcorrect or compensate with this, like, hippie new age explanation for it.
Yeah.
So it helped the women on the other side who were maybe either battered or whatever the fuck be like, oh, if I just look at all this shit through this lens of hippie new age shit.
Yeah, but she also like played into like that. You have to keep your man happy. See, like this, he doesn't like when I do that. Like,
but you know what they did for her, which I thought was crazy, is like, so, and again, this isn't like a fat shaming thing, but like she started increasingly like gaining weight, and
they all did because their diets were specifically weight gaining
it
things.
started with her, and a smart move on the leader's part was then they said, oh, you have to if you want your twin flame, you're going to follow our diet. And their diet, which also, side note, meant you had to subscribe and pay for food courses and all this shit. It was all about money. But as the female leader started gaining weight, they forced the rest of the cult to gain weight so that she wouldn't look.
Well, and he also like manipulated and was like, I know, like in the beginning, I was like, oh, my wife's gonna gain weight. He's like, but then I really started to like her more, like, and it became something I liked even more.
Then he spins
it. He spins it his way. But that's what you're saying. Like they spin it on the female side, and then they spin it on the male side. So like, she's always gonna be like, it's that. They go ultra hard on gender roles.
But my thing is that you would think, if you want to talk about like gender stereotypes, you would think that all of a sudden he would start being like, she shouldn't be this fat, or why is she getting fat? And instead what they did was they told all the women, you all have to be.
But that's because
fat.
That was his preference. Like, so it didn't matter. Like, he wasn't looking, like, he didn't
necessarily want. It was either his preference or he saw that his wife was getting fat. And
no, because then he would have controlled her the other way.
True, but I think, again, I think you have to give some of these leaders some credit for maneuverability, right? Like you have to, if let's say that you're starting a cult, I think your biggest obstacle is deciding when to push and when to dodge.
But so you're saying that he's so smart that he would have started feeding his. He would have. But that's my point.
No. What I'm saying is that he was. No. What I'm saying is that not that he was feeding her to get to that place. What I'm saying is that
he was. That's my point. Is that he thought everything out.
Eventually.
No, he wanted her to be bigger. That's also a control tactic.
Okay. No, so I didn't know that part of it. But my point is that a lot of these guys have to figure out.
I agree with you.
Maneuverability is you have to know when to push, when to pull. Yeah, but
that was like what hit him with the transgender stuff. He would know when to pull back and push.
Right.
The whole weight thing was he wanted a heavier girl for multiple reasons. It could be because one, no one else would want her, so I can keep her.
Well, or
two,
he's just into that.
Or he's just too into it, right?
Yeah.
Then what do? Okay, look, it's worked from this.
Everyone has to be heavy.
And then if I don't like her, I have my choice of anyone I do like.
Okay, but that is part of my point. Is like he had to make a decision of, do I want to push my thing?
But I don't think
this?
what I'm saying is I think he successfully, like, there was no pivot on that one. Like he started it and it went to fruition.
Okay, sure.
But like other shit, like the transgender stuff and like the how you got your twin flame, like he was real good at like breaking back and being like, oh, you're not gay? Maybe you are.
Well, we should say so. Their situation was such that at pretty quickly this was a female dominated group. And when you're offering or promising people their forever love, and half of them are, or a lot of them are heterosexual, but you don't have any men, how do you? Okay, so here's what I mean.
That's
How
what
do
I'm
you
saying.
navigate
Yeah.
that, right? Right. So instead of saying to people like you're gay, he had to say no. Half of you are the what do you say?
We're both male and female energy.
No,
One's just dominant.
Well, right. There's the masculine and feminine,
Yeah.
and he would decide who was a masculine and who was a feminine. Didn't matter what your gender was. And what I liked about this documentary too is they made sure to bring on like a genders studies professor.
They started on a few things I watched on.
Well,
on some of
because
these
they were trying to
some
say
of these, they're like, yeah, we need a real person that knows what they're talking about.
I think the reason they did this is because, like, okay, here's a person who was pushing gender surgery and all that kind of shit when it wasn't real. That doesn't mean that transgender is a fabricated thing.
Yeah.
So you needed to have an expert come on and be like, okay, so normal transgender is this. This cult is this, right? Of like you can't put everyone in the same boat. But
what kind of brain space you got to be in?
who in their right mind, if you were not, because again, there's nothing wrong with being transgender.
Of course
There's
not.
nothing wrong with like wanting gender like whatever surgery. But if you are not that, I can't imagine a fucking world where I'd let anyone talk me into surgical. Surgical. These motherfuckers got cut.
Yeah.
Surgical.
But even to think that, like, you were gonna say, like, I'd be in a relationship for the rest of my life, where I can't be attracted to the person, like, it's just not a
Right,
thing.
It was forced. He was grouping
That's
these people together.
insane.
Exactly. Okay, so just because, let's say, me and you are supposed to get together, and he makes one of us the dominant feminine, it doesn't mean that we loved each other to begin with.
And exactly, so you just forget the sex part. Like, you're signing up to, like, do life with that person in a way that, like, is not platonic. Like,
I don't. Because you went so far.
Yeah. We're finding a theme.
And to turn back now, why is it harder for humans to say I was wrong?
I don't know. I have no idea.
That is a human. Why don't we just say
So-
this entire episode is about like, yo, learn how to admit you're wrong.
All right, so let's go to the ultimate. I couldn't admit when I was wrong. Let's
Yeah.
move on from Twin Flames.
Okay.
Jonestown, the branch. I'm not even. We should do the Branch Davidians, but I'm not even going to do them. But
I like the Branch Davidians.
well, we could do them quick then too. Who cares?
Oh, Waco's so good.
Yeah, but so the ultimate. I can't say no. I was wrong. Is Jim Jones. Like, he was like put into a corner, and everyone knows who Jim Jones is. I mean, to do a quick rundown.
A priest, a pastor.
Yeah,
That was all based out of a church.
he
initially.
started. Well, it was based off of regular religion. Like, it is the whole religious part of it. He
No,
didn't
he
necessarily
took
try to
Christianity and then
change.
said like what? He's Jesus or something like that.
Only at like, so his initial detachment was because of race. So like that was his original like, I don't want to be part of this because like I think the rainbow family was his thing. Like, I think that's the most important part of like getting together. And then he got pushed back, obviously, because like we said, in the 70s, God forbid, like you did something that was not accepted.
Right.
I have it here. I don't know why I can't find it.
They went to South Africa.
Guyana.
I forget exactly why. So
He went under false pretenses. So
well,
what
here's my biggest complaint with them is that there's not a good documentary.
Oh, there's plenty.
Not like a really good one. Like,
Yeah, no, there's
like Rajneesh.
There's better. You have to. They're just not on Netflix. I watched so many.
I've watched some like major network ones that were just terrible.
Yeah, but these are just like you go on YouTube and you like there's like 4
Oh,
hour
okay.
and they're using like the real footage and the
Yeah.
fucking dude.
Do you have the number? Like how many people?
It was fuck. Why don't?
So he somehow, he was the fucking center. He flew an entire group of people over to Africa
Sorry, I'm fucking
to start a new society.
Yeah, South America.
South Africa.
South Africa. So that was the reason why he left the church. He left under the pretenses of saying that like the government was coming for them and was going to kill them and start a war.
Yeah.
So he went this one was like not as thought out as like some of the other communes were.
Let's take a pause and be like, the whole idea of we're victims. That's your very MAGA. Right now of like, the government's out to get us.
This is what I was going to say. This is his speech at the end is the ultimate version. Like when you listen to the recording of the day when 918 people died,
they knew what they were doing too.
Yeah, but some of them were injected. A lot of them were injected.
Transcending.
A lot of them were injected. A lot of them pushed back. It was a fucking chaotic. So there's a 45-minute tape of him. So what happens is he has this commune. He treats the people horribly. If you try to defect, he'll put you in a hole for days.
Yeah, they're essentially doing like slave labor.
Yeah. It's like that's what I mean. It wasn't like a thought out commune. Like he just went there and was like fucking whipping people to work.
He realized, because if you hear his sermons in America still, he was very much like control freak. It's all about me. Mm-hmm. So once he got these people to Africa, for him, he was like, okay, no rules. Do whatever the fuck I want.
So he does this for a couple of months. What happens is one younger woman defects and actually gets out, goes back to America, lobbies Congress to go investigate them.
Yes,
they send
congressman.
They send a congressman, Leo Ryan, to Guyana. They send him here, right? He checks it out. He sees, obviously, oh my God, this is shit. He kind of doesn't really say anything, but bounces with a few people.
I would say they a little bit like tried to put on the show for him.
The people thought
the writing was on the wall,
one thing.
But
the people that were there bought in. They thought that was what it was.
He didn't even make it.
No. So
to the plane.
What I want to talk about is that 45-minute tape is Jim Jones talking to around 900 people.
After this guy?
No. Simultaneously.
While he's there.
So this guy's going.
Is Jim Jones trying to tell the congressman everything's fine.
Wait. The congressman's there. He took the people. He left without telling Jim Jones right away.
Right.
Jim Jones finds out. And boom, that's the end. I have to do this now. He is talking to all these people
because he thinks America's
to kill themselves, right? At the same time, telling them the pilot of the plane is going to die. I'm not going to kill him, but I know that plane is going down. And like telling them that like the plane's going to die, and the congressman's not going to make it back to America. And when that happens,
the plane left.
No, it didn't. This is my point.
Just murdered everybody.
So he had people go to the tarmac and just murder the people, all the people that were leaving from the cult. All the journalists,
this fucking senator,
the congressman,
or congressman, yeah.
But what the craziest part is that that's going on, and he's telling them that it's going on, and the people are having a conversation with him. There's an open forum where like this woman's like, I don't think our baby should die. Like, I don't think because he's not making it back or the plane crashes, we maybe should go to Russia. They said they would take us. Like, there are people that don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And you're listening to this woman, and like, there's a guy in the back like, shut the fuck up. She don't want to do. She should just go home anyway. She's not a true believer. Look at what Daddy did for us. Like, it's insane. And then you're listening to it, and he's like, just do it. And he's talking about drinking the juice and all that shit. And he's like, don't let the. And he's like upset that the kids are screaming. The kids are it's like 40 minutes. It's like 25 minutes.
Yeah, because their parents are dying all around them.
But I don't know how much you know, but cyanide death is like not
pretty
fun.
No.
Yeah, it's like
no, it's like convulsions.
Yeah.
It's
So they drank a mixture of cyanide.
These people did not just like fall asleep.
And if you didn't drink it, you were injected. So they were So it's an audio tape of people being held down and injected. And then the eeriest part about it is it just all goes quiet.
Well,
and the tape just, but you're like 900 people. It was a festival level noise, and then nothing. all because he was like, couldn't admit that, like, all right, maybe no one's coming for us. Like, maybe we should just like listen and go back to the
He was
States.
like a paranoid schizophrenic.
He went,
for
he
a
went,
lot
he
of,
lost it when it came to like trusting anyone.
I think, again, it's easy to lose the idea that, like, in so many parts of life, let's just roll it back to like the economy today, right? Or politics or capitalism today. It's what? A handful of fucking billionaires, right?
Oh yeah, the 1%.
So we are the overwhelming majority of people who are like, these food prices, these gas prices, this situation is crazy. We could change this shit today.
Yeah, but instead,
today.
But instead,
right? But I have
our
my
cult
PlayStation,
leaders,
and I
gave us Taylor Swift.
Well, Taylor Swift is also like making really nice music that I can just forget about my life, but it's not her. It's just like our society is set up that like, well, but I want to go to work and I want to have like a good thing for my kid moving forward, as if it's the only way to do it, and I can't afford to blah blah blah. But like, if we all just stood up one day and said like, no.
But there's not enough people that want to do it. That's the problem.
That's what I'm saying.
Enough people that want
so in this fucking Jonestown situation, I'll bet there were way more people than just who you hear that are thinking like, this is crazy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So they go over the
right, but
thing,
my
and there's needles everywhere.
But
so
my point
hundreds
is,
of people didn't want
that,
to.
And you think about that now with like, let's say QAnon or MAGA, right? The smallest groups are just yelling the loudest.
Yeah.
And so it's easy to think that like society, the overwhelming thought is this, or the overwhelming thought is that, right? And again, like removing social media from my life, like you don't realize that so many people are just living their life completely outside
of what you thought was important.
Right.
But they're completely in another thing usually.
Sure, no one's immune.
No.
But like it's just God, we are all, myself included, just so susceptible to this groupthink, and just you think that you're just too small of a thing to fight this wave. Meanwhile, no one is like. That's why all these like throughout time revolutions in whether it's like war or thinking are so important, because it's like, holy shit, this thing that everyone thought for a long time finally happened because enough people got together and said like, hey, let's just take like civil rights. Like there were plenty of people who were not like white people who were not racist, who never had a problem with black people at all, but it was just like, this is the way fucking society was, and it took all this shit. Or you move it back to like
you have to go
further
than civil rights.
Or I'm saying like the slavery. My point is not to look. I'm not trying to minimize.
No, that's not, I just mean like the timeline for like that kind of thing.
My point is that just like there's so many instances in history where if everybody sort of could have just banded together of what everyone actually thought or felt, you always have this minority.
This is what I'm saying.
Running the
work.
Majority, right?
Because there's always a group willing to do more.
Whether it's a cult, or whether it's with these assholes we've elected to Congress who don't fucking help us at all, whether it's the king, whether it's like you always had this like small fucking group that was just like sociopathic enough to run for control of people. Meanwhile, me and you are like, I don't want to control anyone.
No, but that's...
So now we're just getting fucking walked all over because we don't want to control anyone.
But people have tried that, and that's what happened. That's my point. That's why the Communist Manifesto is a thing, because it makes sense. And then someone comes in and is like, "Hey, fuck it, I'm going to take everything you guys all gave us." Like, that's the whole point.
I know. It's just so sad. It
is sad.
We're still this herd of cows. Like when you see the
that's
cows go to the slaughterhouse and they're watching each other get fucking bolted in the fucking brain.
Yeah, but you can't give it all negativity. Like that part of humanity is also what's amazing. Like our need to be part of a group.
I said at the very beginning, that's what's created the survival and the thriving
No, but I'm
of humanity.
but on
right?
like but you want to talk on a smaller level. So like even on a smaller level, like not humanity, like you of all people, you've been to a concert, like people in a hive mind.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's an amazing feeling. Like
Sure.
it is not a negative attribute to humanity. It's manipulated to be. Like
Yes.
the inherent
yes.
factor of
What
us
I'm-
wanting to be together
Yes.
is good. Like
Yes.
you're saying.
No. But my thing is just, it's just so sad how susceptible, or how
But I don't think we're susceptible.
or how vulnerable that state is. Dude, people are talking about, look, if Trump
You-
wins,
But you misinterpret how
he's
this
potentially
happened.
gonna no. I think we're on the same page. I like, Trump is about to potentially, like, if he wins, people are talking about, like, that might be the end of the democratic experience for America,
Yeah,
right?
that's Rome.
And that's
There
Rome.
you go. See?
But it's crazy how many people right now are all for it. You know,
Yeah.
like they're
But what I'm saying is, like, throughout, like, I don't think that ever changes because of the structure that we're in. Like, we're not playing a fair game. Like, even if you wanted to, it's so far gone since Rome, since then, like, that money still exists. And there's just a few people with it. Like, so that, like, even if you wanted to,
yeah,
like,
it's a construct. It's a
so
framework that we live in.
it's like it's not even like we have a choice. Like, you're giving it like you don't actually have a choice. Like, you say, like, yeah, you could go, like, live in a commune, right? But, like, essentially then you're just isolated and then you miss out on humanity. Like, and the older I get, the more I'm like, there's something to this whole, like you said, with, like, why you would be a Rajneesh. Like, there's something to the fact that, like, we need each other and we need to love each other.
Yes. Yes. But the commune is when you talk about, like, going to a commune and isolating yourself, that is what I'm saying is a small scale version of, if the entire world, if you ask most people, I think the majority of humans.
No, I don't think so. I've done this. You know this.
What am I going to say?
Would agree with that.
No, hang on. What I'm going to say is, do you want to be happy? Do you want to be surrounded by loved ones? Do you want to have, like, there's a lot of universal traits that, like, now people can change what that means.
But see, therein lies the fundamental problem is that
we all have varied. The fundamental problem is that we've all been told that the way we see things differently is more important than the way we see things similarly. And yes, I know what I'm saying is some very fucking pie in the sky idealistic bullshit.
I'm not disagreeing with that
all
at
I'm
all.
saying is just that, like, it's sad when you take a step back, and if you were an alien showing up to this planet, you know, and you're looking at this thing, you'd be like, look at these assholes. You'd be like, they're all playing with this economy that
But my
means
point
nothing.
is that, like,
And
I
it's
think
like,
if that alien race could look at it and be like, oh, this is all we need to take out, we'd be fine. Like, I literally think, like, if you
what is that lighter?
like that 1% you were talking about, like, if
Because
it's
you're saying remove that element, we'd be okay.
yes, like,
Yeah.
if that,
Yeah.
but that's what I'm saying. You're arguing with me. What I'm saying is that it's a structure
I'm not
that's
arguing with you.
no, but you're keep trying to, like, explain yourself, and I'm agreeing with you. All I'm saying is that idea, even now, even if enough people agreed,
Yeah.
it can't happen because of
Which
what
is
way
sad.
right now. Yeah,
It's sad.
I know,
That's
but
what
I'm just
saying.
zooming it out to the point of saying, like, there's a reason why these all end up cults. Like, and
Because
it's
it feels
not,
like the only out.
and it's not just society putting them as a cult. Like, there's a bigger machine that we work with on a daily basis that points us in a direction to go.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's no, like, even if you isolate, what I'm saying is that even if you did that, like,
Yeah.
even you got a group together,
Yeah.
like, you would end up in all being so isolated that it would fall apart somehow.
yes, if you were talking about yeah, I'm not pro cult. I'm just saying that like
I'm not saying you're pro cult.
It's sad that we can't all come together as a fucking species and be like, what are we doing here? You know, what is the Dow Jones?
But what I'm saying is, like,
what is the fucking GDP?
I think you can do that if you just rip that out. Is what I'm saying. If you rip that out, I think enough people would be like, oh.
It's starting to It's starting to happen.
Yeah,
a lot of,
like you said, Rome. They have no choice.
Rome,
yeah.
But also, I think a lot of people are aware of Rome, and there's a modern push now for like. So it used to be that any country or society was able to judge itself as successful or not based on their GDP, right? There was that gross domestic product, whatever. Like, so yeah, I mean, right. And now, finally, the past like 5 or 10 years, a lot of modern cultures are starting to say like, yo, that's not, you can't just judge a GDP of a country and decide if they're doing well, right? What about their health care? What about their quality of life? What about, no, my point though is that you're actually starting to see, and one thing I will say that's positive about the new generation coming up is they are way more in tune with, okay, quality of life, general well-being, healthcare, the state of the environment is more important than GDP. You're seeing that from Gen Z more than, way more than boomers and way more than Gen X.
Of course, yeah, this generation has a little bit of hope.
Yeah, but
again, the problem I think the
so
loudest
I think
voices.
you're slowly starting to see, and this whole like Trump money fuck everybody thing is the last dying yell of that thing being pushed out, right? Because any like ideology that's going to be like extinguished is going to have a last like dying breath,
and it's
kind of thing.
Go underground and come back, just like it always does.
Probably, yeah. It's man, I'm not trying to pretend like I have fucking answers or anything like that. I just what I'm trying to say is that I think the human experience is actually way more shareable than what we pretend it is, and like most people on a base level want the same shit. You want to love your loved ones, you want to be fed, you want to feel safe, and you want to, have a good future for your fucking kids.
Yeah.
And the problem is that so many people are so afraid of what that means. I mean, cults are based on fear as much as they're based on ideals.
Yeah.
Of half of these things that we didn't talk about, like Hail Bop was about the end of the world. Jonestown, obviously,
they were
the
coming
fucking
for you.
world.
They were talking
right.
about dropping bombs.
We didn't talk about, but Waco and the Branch Davidians, he used to say the government's gonna come fucking fight us with tanks because he was predicting what he was gonna start, right? But that was end of the world. Like everything is about. Oh, at the beginning of this episode, I said it directly relates to you. When your daughter was first born, I lived here, and I came back by train. And it just so happened that it was when the Pope was visiting Philly, right? So all the trains were crazy fucked up. I couldn't just get like the normal like train to Amtrak to New York, whatever. I had to have like a 3-hour layover in Center City, Philly. Yeah. So I get out of the 30th Street station there, and everyone's waiting for the Pope. So it brought out the most bizarre groups of people to the point where you walk out of the station and they shut down Market Street. This group over here, they're all wearing, let's say, magenta. And they were saying, I think this was like in the fall, and they were saying that the world was going to end on April 23rd of this year. That's when the world's going to end, right? And they're forcing pamphlets on me. I'm like, okay, cool. And you know me. I'm like, yeah, awesome. Yeah, I'll take whatever you got. Then I bought Layla a Pope onesie.
Yeah.
Then the next group, they're all wearing orange, and they have signs, and they say the world's going to end. Now they're all quoting the Bible, by the way. They're all quoting the same book.
Hey, I'm
same book.
halfway through it. It's
same book.
Garbage.
Yeah, they're all quoting the same book, and this group says that no, May 17th of whatever year.
Yeah, and
This
there's ones
is the
that
end of
have
the world.
moving dates. That when that date comes, they go, oh well, oops, we meant this one.
Right, and then you're like,
Oh, look, the math was wrong.
So-
I forgot to carry the one.
hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I honestly, and this is not an exaggeration, I went down that street, and I probably had at least 3 different groups tell me when the world was going to end.
Yeah.
And these motherfuckers believed it.
Yeah.
Like
all
they
believe
were selling their assets. They were like all in,
it.
right?
Yeah.
All those dates that they said
It passed easily.
were
Always.
years ago.
Always. That's been like,
Right.
there's like, you could drive down the highway and you'll see a billboard.
Yeah.
And I'll see like end of the world, June 5th. And it's
Right.
like fucking October 9th.
Right.
Like,
And,
like, what the fuck?
and I always wonder, I'm like, so what are you doing now?
The-
Half of those people are probably like, the world did end.
Some of them say it. Some like, this is hell. People, you ask some people right now to go, this world ended already. World ended in 2016. Like, we're all living in hell. Like,
I'll bet the pandemic was big for that.
yeah, but my theory of like CERN fucks with like time space, like their version of that would be like, oh, we're all dead. Like we shifted into like hell or like the netherworld or whatever, and like this is actually where we're supposed to be now because the world ended. Like,
But we didn't see anything.
no, nothing happened.
Yeah.
No, it's like the fucking Mandela effect.
Shazam.
All right, quick. I'll go into my tinfoil
Yeah, because
hat.
we're almost at like
Just
2.5
because, and
hours.
I had other shit. I had a whole bunch of shit ready
Sorry.
for today.
We can do more cults. Like we can do like a cults
But
part
that's
2.
what I said. I think we'll do more because we want to talk about some of the other like.
Or we can
bigger
like
groups.
pick specific ones and
Yeah.
do like deep
I
dives.
think
into
we should do a
each.
deep
Yeah.
dive into a few.
Okay.
We have a local cult potentially,
You
like
mean
Schuylkill,
local to us.
like
here?
Schuylkill. Yeah, like local
Schuylkill?
Schuylkill area. Yeah. So
The river.
just along, like just the
'Cause
towns
it's,
along.
It's right outside my window.
Yeah. So you should be checking for stuff.
It's a good thing I'm on
Since
the third
2019, someone or someone's has been leaving notes in like sealed cereal boxes, Pop-Tart boxes, medicine, all kinds of trail mix, all kinds of shit. Like, and they're these cryptic notes. I'll pull it up for you. You can find it on Reddit if anyone wants to find it. There's a subreddit for it.
What do they say?
They are cryptic letters. Actually, this one's probably easier to read because this is like someone deciphered as much of it as they could. There's no real understanding or message. It's just like cryptic quotes and sign. Well, it's the same thing.
Imagine though, the thing is that these days it could just be trolls
It,
who are
it
pretending.
totally could be people, but there's a lot of like end of world type things in there. I don't know. It's not loading on your thing right now, but
Yeah.
my computer's doing a lot. But still finding them. Like it's on the news
there you go.
in Philly. Oh, here you go. All right, and you're not gonna be able to. It says like secret societies and a bunch of like
Ties to mass shootings go unreported. JFK and Lincoln Wilson warned us of SS. Secret Society. Oh my God! It's just nonstop.
yeah, and it's just like a line of like every culty thing you could think of. Skull and Bones is on there.
Oh my God! This is the most. I mean, just reading one line of it makes my brain hurt.
My mouse.
China something who's and everything's like weirdly like what's the word, like shorthand
Yeah. There's like all kinds of symbols
conditioning us
and,
to be controlled, tip offs, new.
There's someone. Is this the? Oh, this is it. Here.
Right.
And he gave us like a breakdown of.
I think you have to hit continue.
Oh.
Secret societies has ties to terrorism, mass shootings, and go unreported. JFK, Lincoln, and Wilson warned of secret societies. The secret sign symbol system unites secret societies. Their symbols tied to Saturn, Lord of the Rings, time, Toyota, Audi, rings, China, Islam, World Health Organizations, Crescent with Ball Star. I mean, this is somebody who's got fucking mental problems.
But what if like someone else sees this
Or
that's
it's someone-
susceptible
or
and is
it's
like,
someone from the future. Dragon kings need disarmed / non-violent populations.
no, my point is like, so say this is someone fucking around.
Real resistance is growing. Yeah.
Say there's someone fucking around, right? And this is just a joke.
Yeah.
There's someone reading this that thinks it's real.
Yes.
And they can go off now and be like, I'm part of this fucking secret society cult.
Yeah.
So what the fuck? This is like our neighborhood. I'm waiting to get a cereal box with some shit in it.
Well, you'd be at the top of their list, I think.
I don't know. I'm not joining a cult. I think they know that much.
Yeah.
Like you're not getting me in a cult. There's too many theories. I love the theories.
Right.
Can't pin me
Be like,
down.
what about this?
You need to be like, here's Fred the fucking alien. Like, and I need to like see a physical alien and have a conversation with him.
Society
and then I
front
believe you.
for a tiny race called Dragon Kings, origin of royalty. God damn. Who takes the time?
I don't know. And it's got a key. If you look down at the bottom, he's like translated some of what the things mean.
Yeah.
This fell into my lap. This was a complete random find on Reddit because I was looking at cult shit.
So I think when I like come across as like a skeptic, it's almost like what I'm trying to say is I think a lot of times people try to create meaning or patterns. We are pattern-based life forms, right? The reason that humans were able to exist as a society is because we could like track the seasons, we can navigate by the stars, we can, but the problem now is that life is so fucking comfortable compared to cavemen that our cavemen brains don't know what to do with all this like comfort and information. So it's like you have so many people who are trying to create shit out of like just be, man.
Yeah. So I
like, yes, I agree that this construct in this society is fucking nonsense, but like that doesn't mean that the Dragon King is dropping 747s into volcanoes to create the fucking spirits which make you believe that you're a person.
So I'm going to make a comparison for you that you'll understand.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff is head. Right? Once
Yeah.
you get past that,
Yeah.
then there's like we said before, like smart people having real conversations about like the James Webb Telescope has found shit that totally
Yes.
dismantles science.
Yes.
Yeah. But like, so
I'm
like,
for that.
I know. But
Yeah.
so that's what I'm saying. So like that you have to get
The
through.
two fingers.
You have to get through that. Yeah. 2 fingers. And then you're good.
Yeah.
So the problem is too many people hear about the head
That's it.
and they don't want it. They're like, I don't want that phone. I don't want to
So
deal
we
with the phone.
should start a cult called the Third Finger.
3 fingers deep. No, that should just be a podcast. 3 fingers deep.
3 fingers
You
deep.
do a complete beer
And then you're
podcast.
just talking about regular shit.
No, you should do beer. It could be a beer podcast.
3 fingers deep. It's the beer.
You and Pat.
Yeah.
Trademarked.
Nope. I took it.
Yeah. That's
Anti.
you. No, I'm trademarking for you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, yes.
That should be. You guys could do
Patent.
that like in Ballbirds.
The Third Finger.
I would do 3 fingers deep. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what gets you. Again, we're talking cults. That's what gets you in.
It's the sale.
I'm clicking 3 fingers deep. Okay.
I don't want the third finger, but I want 3 fingers deep.
Yeah.
Did I say 2 fingers? Better make it 3.
It's always about that third. Never let it go.
All right. Well,
Well, we gotta let these
I think
people
we should
go.
let fucking people go. Yeah, but I think that we should pick a couple specific cults.
Yeah,
and do
let's do
deep
it.
dives and like full.
Well, I think
full-blown-
maybe we should start with Waco then, since we didn't really touch it today.
Yeah, I like that. I want to do that.
That's fine. Yeah, I'm
Cool.
Fuck yeah. You don't have to convince me to do
All
true
right.
crime type shit.
Well, Denonites, I want you to only wear purple shoes, and if you ever want to meet your great grandfather, then you need to burn pine needles at 12:03 every night.
Well, no. 11:59, because the nighttime is the right time. The
The
nighttime.
nighttime is
the right
the right
time.
time. Later, dudes.
The Beta Den Podcast is an independent podcast, recorded, edited, and distributed by us. Any support is much appreciated. Please like, subscribe, and rate us. It really does help. And be sure to follow us on social media. You can find us on Instagram at _beta_den, TikTok, the Beta Den Podcast, Reddit, the Beta Den -podcast. To submit stories, comments, or questions, please email us or leave a voicemail at betadenog@gmail.com. Thank you so much. You really are appreciated.